Yo, yo, yo. The Super Taj World here, man. And hey, man, oh man, it is official. Odell Beckham is going to LA. Is going to the LA Rams. Official. Odell. Yeah, man, he's going to the LA Rams, man. It is official, man. And I've been said before the season that the Rams was gonna be the best team in the NFL, like even before all the moves that they've been making. And hey, man, all the moves that they're making, like you know what I mean, like this Rams team, I don't even care. You know what I mean about the future, which I don't blame them. You know what I mean? They're you know what I mean. They're trying to win now, and at this point, it's Super Bowl or bust for them. It is definitely Super Bowl or bust. You know what I mean? It, and there's no excuses at this point. Salute Nicholas Brown, TRL man. Salute man. Yeah, I know you mad man because you a Cardinals fan. Yeah, and I know. Salute him man. Yeah man, it's unbelievable man. I even seen Odell FaceTime and Von Miller. Even after the announcement, making it official. Yeah, man, I'm about to drop this link now. But yeah, man, it's Super Bowl or bust for the Rams. And even before, you know, what I mean, all the moves they've been making, like they were already a Super Bowl caliber team. And man, it's crazy. Hey man, what's good?
What's good with your ties, man? What you got going, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. You know what I mean. Just had to go live for this
Yeah, I
announcement.
see, man. Everybody going live, man. That's crazy. He signed with the Rams. I wouldn't have never seen that coming.
Yeah.
Did he have those teams on his list?
How you guys
There were like
doing?
some. What's good, Jeffrey? But there were like some
Was
teams
good.
like the Packers. I know the Packers
The
was there. The
Saints
Saints, the
and
Saints.
somebody else. 'Cause some people was
I
gassing
think
it
the
up. I forgot
Saints were
who.
one. Yeah, the Saints, Packers, the Chiefs were another team.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah, the
Chiefs were
weak
another
ass
team
Chiefs. Yeah.
too.
Why would
Yeah,
anybody want to go to the Chiefs? That dumpster fire over there. Come on
And
now,
you know
tell
it's
the
kind
truth.
of funny too. They just said yesterday, "Oh, Odell's going to wait until the weekend or after this weekend's games to make a decision." Well, he made his decision pretty damn fast. It's crazy.
Huh?
What a
He woke.
news day today. Cam
He
Newton
woke
coming
up.
back to the Panthers, and now Odell is heading to the Rams.
Yeah, I just seen that. I just seen the Cam Newton news. That's dope
yeah.
for
The
him.
Cam Newton
He
news
should have.
too. Yeah, he going back to
Yeah, he should have
Carolina.
been on the team though, man. That's a crime how they've been doing Cam Newton, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I
What
think
up,
he's got
Sean
the best
Pat?
opportunity over there too. I think he's got a really good opportunity to bring some life back to that Carolina Panthers team because Darnold was giving him nothing.
Yeah, yeah, it's bye
What
bye
happened to
for
Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
Darnold's got
What happened?
a scapula injury, I think. He's out for a few weeks.
Nah, but even before that, he was stinking up the joint.
Yeah, he was
Even
bad for
before
at least the
that,
past few weeks.
Say it was a
yeah,
trash can, huh?
Oh
What's
yeah.
yeah.
going
After
on
the
with the Giants,
injuries,
man?
yeah.
Oh, man, what's going on with the NFC East, man? Like, I'm trying to figure out why the Broncos is running through y'all division like that.
Ah, nah, bro,
Broncos just
I-
step up.
this is
They
crazy.
step up and they
Look,
take
I got
down
a coworker
opposition.
at my job, man. He had one. I forgot what jersey he had on yesterday. He had a Denver Broncos jersey on yesterday. He got a whole different
Hmm.
one on today. He repping his team. He repping his team this week, man.
Yeah, the Broncos they play the Eagles next. Yeah, yeah, like they could sweep this
They
whole
sweep.
division.
They
I think
sweeping
they
that
are going to
division.
sweep
Yeah,
it. I think they
yeah, they're
are going
gonna
to
sweep
sweep the
that division.
division. Yeah, I don't
Eagles.
trust the
Yeah,
Yeah,
Eagles to beat them. They seem to
That's
always
tough,
step
man.
up their game. The Broncos seem to step up their game when they play against an NFC East team. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to level up and go up higher when they play against anybody in the NFC East, and I expect them to do the same against the Broncos. I mean the Eagles.
Well,
I just expect them to
well,
smash them.
especially we already know about the Cowboys because I mean that
Oh
was
yeah.
embarrassing. I had people in my job threatening me, oh, you better watch yourself and blah blah blah. This it's like y'all really that butt hurt over a loss. Like, come on, man.
Cowboys fans are jumping off I see Cowboys fans are already jumping off the ship. They think that they're about to
Watch your
go
mouth.
through a lull.
I'm a Cowboys fan now too. See, I had to be a Broncos fan for that week, but I'm back to being a
I'm not
Cowboys.
saying I'm not saying every Cowboys fan. I have seen some Cowboys fans be like, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna start losing. It's
Ah,
coming
yeah,
to an
they
end." I
they
don't
they're
get
an
it.
emotional roller coaster, man. They up and down with it. They win, it's Super Bowl, Super Bowl. They lose, it's man. We got to trade everybody, fire the
Yeah,
head coach, all this and that. Come on, man.
yeah, I don't understand it. You guys are still in good position. I mean, you guys are what 6-2 right now? Six
Nah,
and
they gonna
three.
win their division.
I
Cowboys
think they
gonna
seven,
lose.
yeah, something like that. 7-2, something
Hey, you
like
guys are
that.
Yeah,
still in great position to still get a
they're
top
like
seed. You can still get a one
they're
and
like
two seed
six
in
and
this
two.
in the league. I don't
Yeah,
get
I
it.
mean they're gonna sew up the division. I mean you got teams like the Eagles, Giants. No
Mm.
disrespect, but the Giants ain't that good.
No,
The
don't worry. We disrespect our team low enough, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
also we got two Giants fans in here.
Yep.
Then how are
Longtime
we
Giants
talking
yeah.
fan.
football if y'all are Giants fans? How are we sitting here talking football? Y'all Giants fans. That means right to be a fan of the Giants, you're delusional, right?
What?
I
It
said for
depends.
you
It
to be
depends.
because
It
I hear
depends what
I
you mean
hear
by the
people saying
delusional.
I hear people saying Jones is a top quarterback in the league. That's delusion, right?
No, who said that?
One of my coworkers said he's a top
He said
quarterback in the league.
he's a
You know
top
what?
quarterback.
Top
Oh,
No.
quarterback. That's all he told me was Damian Jones. Ever since he was a rookie,
Daniel
he's
Jones.
been Daniel Jones been hyping him up since he got drafted, man.
You know what I think about Daniel Jones? I look at Daniel Jones as a guy that you could win with as a quarterback, but he is not a franchise quarterback because he has not done anything to be
Yeah,
a
you can you
franchise
can
quarterback.
you can win with him, but you just gotta like just build around him.
How the hell
You got
can
to have
people
a defense
say,
around him.
yeah, how the
Yeah,
hell can people say that guy is a top 10 quarterback? Look at his numbers. Look at his numbers. I don't even think
Hey,
he
that's what I
passed over
heard.
2,000
Hey,
yards, like
hey, you
8
had people.
touchdowns and 5 interceptions. You kidding
You
me?
had people. Come on, man. Like, let's not act like that. This doesn't happen though. People,
Oh,
people
I
was
know.
hyping up that quarterback in New England too, man. Like, that's how super fans are, man. What's
Oh,
that
yeah.
quarterback in New England name?
Mac Jones.
Mac
Mac
Jones, yeah.
Jones. Yeah, you know how true the king get, man. He get the capping. And I hope he in the chat room so I can fire his ass up about that too.
True. Hey, yo, true.
I'm gonna call his ass out too. We don't want to talk about basketball. Let's leave basketball alone. It's been a lot of disappointing shit. I've been low key about it though. I've been in the cut, but I've been
Here
watching.
come true.
Look
Yo,
at him.
come
He ain't
true.
waste no
Yeah.
time. He ain't waste no time. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. You heard what I said.
Yo, what up, everybody? What up, Snoop Talk? First of
What's
all,
good?
listen, y'all, that was that's a cat. He having a better season than Teddy Bridgewater. I know that. I don't know what you talking
Nah,
about.
Teddy
I don't know what
Bridgewater
you
top.
talking about.
Teddy
Hey,
Teddy Bridgewater top 10 in passing yards, and he
hey,
missed 2 games.
okay,
What are you talking
okay,
about?
okay, and Mac Jones is too. So what are you saying?
Mac Jones, he missed games.
Dog, look, here's the thing though. He got more weapons. He got more offensive wide receivers, better wide receivers than Mac Jones do, bro. So let's not do that.
I'll give you that, but when
So
you
let's
say
not do that.
Mac Jones has a better quarterback, I mean a
No,
better play
hold on,
caller, he has a
hold on,
better play
hold on.
caller because he has a better coach, right?
Yeah, but look at the reads he's doing too, though.
God, like okay, so we're gonna act like Teddy Bridgewater don't make reads.
Not better than Mac Jones.
How can you define that? So you're not giving me quantifiable
I
facts.
watched you gotta watch the game. He doing three, he doing one, he going through to 1 to 2 3 reads,
But
progression reads during
when you
games,
say
bro. He just his film is right there.
that's not an
Hey, listen,
objective fact though.
listen.
That's your
68%.
subjective opinion.
How many quarterbacks in the league is throwing 68% completion percentage? It's not more
Uh,
than that. It's not a
is
lot.
Teddy? Look. I haven't been following football too much, but I'm pretty sure Teddy is. So
We gonna go. I don't know if that's true. I
well, you
most
could
likely
check.
is true.
Regardless,
I'm
I
on
mean,
it.
like I said. when you doing check downs all game, you're gonna have 68%
I mean, you could
passing
say
on easy work.
check downs, but look at the attempts too, though. The attempts, it doesn't matter. Attempts is
The
attempts.
attempts.
It doesn't matter. Like
Here we go.
those are dangerous throws too. Those check downs, mid five check, those are dangerous throws.
How many turnovers does Mac Jones have this year, and
A
as well as
lot.
Teddy Bridgewater?
He got 7. Teddy Bridgewater don't throw the ball as much as Mac Jones do, so let's not
Now he
do that.
doesn't throw the ball as much as Mac
And
Jones.
he don't. And the funny thing, we are a running football team, and we are a running football team.
I
And
give
Mac
you
Jones
Drew. I
throw the
give you.
ball more than Teddy Bridgewater.
I give you. We're a running team too. I give you Drew Lock, but he's not better than Teddy Bridgewater. You're a
He's
smoker for
better than
saying
Teddy
that, bro.
Bridgewater, bro. I
You're a
don't know what you're
smoker,
talking
bro.
about.
I
He's
mean, you're
better than
just a
Teddy
smoker,
Bridgewater,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, Mac Jones
I
only
can't give
got
you that.
7 receptions.
He's better than Teddy Bridgewater, bro. It's really that simple. It's that simple, man. Mac Jones is a problem. Simple as
How
that.
to how
If
to
that was the
how
case,
to
Bill wouldn't been trying to get Odell Beckham if Mac Jones wasn't the real deal. If that was the case. If
Why
that was
didn't
the
y'all
case.
get Odell? That's a question. That's a good question.
He tried to get him. He went to LA. He
That was
But
what
you
tried to
just
get
Bill
him.
wants
contradicted
to bring.
yourself.
Yeah,
You
Bill
just you
Bill
just
Belichick
wants
got
to
him.
bring.
Odell,
That's why he
hold
went
on,
there.
Odell considered to go to the Patriots with mutual interest, but the Rams they had a better pitch. It's as simple
so
as that.
you said Bill Belichick wouldn't have tried to go get him. You say
He
so Bill.
did try to get him. He did try to get him.
So what was your
Yeah.
point in bringing that up? You said he didn't
No,
try
I'm
to get
just
him, or
saying
he did.
because this is the thing. Why would if
The
Mac Jones
helmet.
wasn't the
Yeah.
real deal? The thing is, if Mac Jones wasn't the real deal, why is he trying? If he wasn't the real deal, then why he trying to get Odell Beckham then?
Why not?
If he
That's a
wasn't
mute
the real
point.
deal,
That's a mute point. That's a silly ass point you just brought. Because any quarterback needs weapons. I don't care how great of a quarterback you are. You need weapons around you. So I don't know what kind of point you was making with that.
I think
Every
Mac
quarterback
Jones.
needs weapons.
I
Yeah,
think Mac Jones, if he had a number
got kicked
one
out for
wide
that cap.
receiver, if Mac Jones
Everybody,
did have a number one wide receiver, he'd be a little
yeah, he
bit
got kicked
better.
out for all that cap. I mean, yeah, any quarterback needs a top receiver. Who doesn't need Odell Beckham? Every team
Yeah.
needs Odell Beckham.
I mean, who is their top receiver? Jacoby Myers. He's a good receiver, but he's not a number one.
Now
I think
I'll give
Kobe
them the
solid.
weapons
Myers,
point. Like
Nelson
they have
Aguilar. Like
no,
they're not
they
even.
don't have, yeah, they don't have enough receivers over there in New England. I'll give them that. But I mean, the play calling and the coaching, that's hands down goes to Mac Jones.
I
That's not
think
even a debate.
I think Mac Jones right now, out of all the rookie quarterbacks I've seen this year, I think Mac Jones does look the best out of all of them. And I think Teddy Bridgewater has looked as a better quarterback, but I got to admit, I think Bridgewater is in a better situation with the playmakers around him than Mac Jones is. But Mac Jones, I think he's got a pretty high upside. He's just got to I think he's got to keep growing. He's got to keep playing better. But I don't think he's at the
That's
level of
my
Teddy Bridgewater
point.
right
Like we
now.
gotta,
Yeah, I think he's at
yeah,
the
that's
level.
my
Yeah,
right. That's my point. Like you gotta take it slow with these rookies. Like we
yeah.
so quick to give these people credit when they haven't proven themselves yet. That's all I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like who knows what Mac Jones will be 5 years from now? We're talking about today though. He's not today. He's not better than Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy
Yeah.
Bridgewater has done more. Like I feel like longevity and seniority in the league plays a factor in this. Like we're not about to just put a rookie quarterback over established quarterbacks. It makes no sense.
No, he's got to prove more than at least 8 games, 8 or 9 games right now before we could put him up there as like an upper echelon guy, or even like towards the middle of the pack. I'd say he's like maybe towards the middle of the pack, but not quite. Out of all the rookie
Right.
quarterbacks, though, he's looked the best. But no, he's not Teddy Bridgewater right now. But how
Like
as
just
you
like Jake Locker. Just like
yeah
Jake Locker. Like Jake Locker had a good stretch. When
yeah
he started in the NFL and then teams started the game plan and scout against him, and he looked like a complete bomb. So we gotta, like I said, you gotta give me years, a couple of seasons of him doing this for me to actually judge him. I can't judge him after 8, 9 games. It don't make sense.
Well, since you're a Cowboys fan, how do you feel right now, like going into the last 8 games of this
The
season,
Cowboys and the
9 games of
Broncos
this
game.
season? Like, what do you feel like? You feel like you guys could go on a
Oh,
run?
I feel like they're on their way to the Super Bowls as long as I'm a fan of them. They're on
Hmm.
their way to the Super Bowl. Because here's the thing: I'm not going to be a fan of your team if you're not like if you're not a contender. You know, I can't be a fan of a bum team. So the Cowboys have no choice but to get to the Super Bowl. You get what I'm saying? Like this is Super Bowl or bust. So I mean, they got an easy schedule. In my opinion, they got an easy schedule. I mean, they got past the tough teams: Tampa Bay, Denver. I feel like Who else they play? The Saints, right? That's gonna
You
be a
still got
tough
the
team.
Giants, I think, one more time.
Nah,
And
they
did you
didn't
guys
play
play
the
the
same.
Eagles
They
one?
didn't play the same shit.
They got the Eagles one more time. I think you got Washington twice.
Eagles.
Yeah, that's an easy ride. That's a couple of wins right there. I know that's at least 3 wins right there.
How do you feel about the
So
Randy
that
Gregory injury? That's a pretty big hit for you guys.
Gregory
Randy
got
Greg,
hurt.
yeah, Gregory
Or
sprained his
Randy
ankle. I think he's
Gregory.
out for multiple weeks. They just
Yeah, that's rough.
McCarthy announced it, so he's gonna be
What's up
out
with
for a
these
few
players
weeks.
getting sprained ankles and they
It's
out for
a
multiple
lot.
times? Like that makes no sense to me.
It's
You
that
sprain your
damn
ankle and
turf,
you missing
man.
games.
It's a
It's
lot
that
of
Oh,
guys
that's
this
turf
year have
damn
toe.
turf.
missed games. Yeah, a lot of guys this year
I
have
ain't gonna
missed a
lie.
lot
That's
of games.
yeah.
Crazy.
That's tough. I ain't gonna lie. Turf toe is tough. But I mean, you missing a couple of weeks. Like that's really like 1 week injury. It's not a
Hmm.
couple of weeks, man. I don't get where. Yeah, I ain't gonna call them soft, but they're pampered in the NFL, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
why.
think
Yeah.
I think it'll hurt in the short term, but I think you guys are supposed to get DeMarcus Lawrence back soon, so that's at least going to help you guys out. Plus, Parsons looks like an absolute
So back
beast.
to
As a Giants fan, I will admit that guy looks absolutely like a freaking beast. Looks amazing out
Well,
there.
I've only watched one Cowboys game this year. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hmm.
So I'm just really a troll. I'm trolling the Cowboys fans when I call myself a fan.
he
But
be trolling.
yeah, I be trolling. That's call
All
it.
right.
But I did see that Denver game, and I wasn't too impressed by nobody in the Cowboys team. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, they look shell shocked. But as a Denver fan, I've seen the Cowboys melt down versus like they have a great season, and once they play the Broncos for whatever reason, they just have a complete meltdown. Don't play the same.
Hmm. No, I agree. It's just can the Cowboys keep it together for the second half of the season and heading to the playoffs? Because that's when they
Yeah,
usually always melt down all the time. Always
we
get
can't
off to
have
good
that this year.
starts. No, they always get off to good starts and they somehow melt down towards the second half of the season. That's been the Cowboys' mantra for the entire time. It's easy for them because in a way they could coast because the rest of the division sucks. I mean, the Washington Redskins look like the Washington football team looks like they're getting ready to get the number one pick. The Eagles are indecisive. Like one week they're good, next week they're bad. And the Giants are too busy beating themselves. So it's like the
I think
Cowboys
the
have been the
Detroit
best team in
Lions
that
getting it.
division.
I think that the Detroit Lions gonna get that number one pitch,
The
and then the
Lions,
Jacksonville.
yeah.
Yeah, that's who I might be a
Like the
fan of next year.
Texans.
The Lions. I gotta do some check. Oh, the Texans. Yeah, it's a toss up between the Texans and the Lions. I'm gonna be a fan of next year. Yeah, that's like a real project right there. I don't know what's going on with the Texans, the Lions, the Jaguars. I like the Jaguars quarterback though. What's his name? Trevor Lawrence. I
Trevor
like him.
Lawrence
Lawrence.
here.
Yeah, he cool man.
Well, the
But
Texans,
outside
it's
of
all
that,
about what they're going to do with Deshaun. That's like the whole quick question is what are they going to do with Deshaun Watson? They're going to trade him in the offseason, try to work something out in Houston. That's the big question with that whole franchise. In Detroit, they're a mess. They got a mess all over the place. They've been a mess for years.
I
They need
think
a
out of
young
those three,
quarterback too.
I think out of those three teams, Detroit has the best chance of actually winning. Like
They,
like you said with the quarterback situation with the Texans, the more
mhm,
time goes by, the more his value deplenishes. So
yeah.
right now they're probably looking at a fourth or fifth round pick. You're not going to get Deshaun Watson in the fourth or fifth round,
Mhm.
And as time goes on, his value just keeps dropping. You're not. It's going to be a long rebuild for them. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know what they got going on. So if I'm looking at those
Urban
three
Meyer.
teams, yeah, they got all kind of scandals on their name. So if I'm looking at those three teams, I'll say Detroit has the best chance of being somewhat good next year.
Detroit's got to start getting some more foundational pieces on their team, though, because they really, right now, when you look at the Lions, who can you say is part of that core of the team, the foundational pieces? You could say maybe Penei Sewell, the right tackle, maybe the left tackle, maybe the tight end. Maybe you could say DeAndre Swift, but after that, I can't really look at any other player on that Detroit team that you could say this guy is going to be part of this core and the part of the team moving forward. Because I can't even say Jared Goff is really going to be part of that future because to me he's just a bridge quarterback, and the only reason he's there right now is because they're paying him a lot of money. So I think he's going to be there regardless. So I could see them going into the draft and maybe trying to address getting a young quarterback in there, having him learn behind Jared Goff for maybe a year or two until eventually he takes over. At the same time, trying to gather up more picks and try to fill out the rest of that team because they need wide receivers, they need offensive linemen, they need defense, they need secondary help, linebackers. They need a lot of help on that team. I think the coach is good. They just need to get more pieces on that team before they can be ready to compete.
I think going after a different position other than quarterback would be the move. Because I mean, they need everything on that team. I'm not starting with a quarterback because I already got a former number one overall pick in Jared Goff. I know
Mm.
he's not playing up to par, but at least get him some weapons and see if he can be that number one overall pick that everybody claimed he was. And you just continue to build around him and see what you can get there. I think they have a solid base. It's just those key positions they're really lacking. And if they can address those and get that right, then I think they'll be solid.
I think the defense is the defense, and I think they need at least some type of more playmakers on the outside. I think they got a foundation on the offensive line they're starting to build, and they got a good tight end in Hawkinson that can be a big help for Goff. They just need to get him some more wide receiver help, and that defense is a mess. They need to get
Yeah,
players on that
defense trash.
defense. They got nothing on there. That secondary is
Garbage.
trash. Okuda was a bad pick when they picked him last year. Kid's been done nothing, and he's been injured for the first 2 years of his career. So they need to get a lot of pieces on that
He kind of
defense.
been a bust so far.
Yeah, it's not even really his fault because he's just not been healthy. But at the same time, I mean, we always say, Taj, best ability is availability, and he's not been available. He's been out all the time for the past 2 years. But they need help on that defense if they want to do any type of competing. Because I like Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell could be a pretty good coach in this league. The guys play hard for him. They played hard against some pretty good teams in the league. They just don't have the talent. They're lacking in talent all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts, man. I can't argue that.
Mm,
And shout out to Matt Stafford, man. He got the hell off and away from there. Now he looking like a Super Bowl contender now, man.
I'm happy for Matt
Everybody was,
Stafford.
For
yeah,
once.
man. Everybody was shitting on Matt Stafford a couple of years ago. Oh, he did see that, man. Shout out to that Texas boy, man.
Mm.
Putting on for Texas, man. Shout out to that boy, man.
Matt Stafford's a damn good quarterback. I've always thought he's a damn good quarterback. It's just when you're stuck in that hellhole known as Detroit, you're really not going to do that well because
Yeah, ain't
he
too
really
much you
has.
can do.
He has nothing around him. He had Calvin Johnson that helped him out for years, but otherwise, what did he really have? Nothing. Now he's got a chance at winning. I think he's got a chance now at winning a Super Bowl this year with the collection of talent they put together over there in L.A. for him. Especially now they got those final two pieces. You got Von Miller over there on the defensive side,
Man, don't remind me, man.
and Odell
Oh
Beckham
man,
Jr. now with Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, and
them
Cooper
niggas
Cup.
took them niggas
Man,
took Von Miller from my boys, man. That hurt
yeah,
my heart. I ain't gonna lie, man. Taking Von Miller. Shout out to Von though, man. He might get him another Super Bowl.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a feel-good thing for Von Miller. I think he deserves to get at least another ring. I think he's got a damn good chance to get another ring over there in L.A. That team's got to win though. They can't. They can't lose. They can't lose. They put that team
Super
together for a
Bowl or
Super Bowl.
bust.
They're going
Super
all out.
Bowl
They
or
traded away
bust.
all their draft picks, all their first and second round draft picks to go for it for the next year or two. So they got to get it done. Or man, is it going to be it's going to be a lot of backfire over there in LA if they don't win a Super Bowl in the next year or two.
Yeah,
It's
spoken well. I
crazy.
can't argue that, man. I can't argue
Yeah.
that at all.
I
But I'm
mean,
about to head into work though, man. I'm running
All
late, man.
right,
I'll
hey
holler at
man.
y'all boys, man.
it was a
Shout
pleasure to
out to you,
talk to
Todd.
you.
All right, same to you, homie.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right, you too, homie. All right, Todd. I'll
Easy.
holler at you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
No, but I mean, like, Taj, are you really surprised at all with this whole situation that Beckham decided to go to the Rams because then maybe that gives him the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl out of all the teams that were listed?
Uh, a little bit. A little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Beckham looked at all his options and he probably saw like the Saints. Maybe I could be a number one receiver right there with Michael Thomas out, but at the same time, I don't think they have all the pieces on that offense to really compete. The Chiefs, they look like a running mess right now. The Chiefs defense is horrible. They can't stop anybody
Yeah.
when they run into a good offensive team. They're either going to have to be in a shootout to try to win games, and even Mahomes is not looking the same. Their offensive line is trash, so I think he probably looked at that situation. He's like, nah, I'm gonna skirt off to another area. The Packers, I'm surprised like weren't that team, but I don't know. I think he just looked at the Rams and said, "This team is ready to compete for a Super Bowl and ready to like go all out." And I think they looked at it and be like, "What are the Rams missing on that offense the most?" And that's that downfield threat at wide receiver to open things up for over the middle for Higbee, for Cup, for Woods. And they said OBJ is that final piece that could take us to the promised land. So they just probably went over
Hey,
there and were like,
they
"You
even
know
got
what? We're gonna sign you up."
They even got Van Jefferson over there who's solid.
Yeah, Van Jefferson could be a solid number 4. Can you imagine teams now having to pick and choose who we got to double up on that offense? I mean, you got to try to double up on Cooper Cup. You got Odell Beckham. You got Robert Woods. You got Tyler Higbee one-on-one against the defense. I mean, it's like Tampa Bay all over again. I'm looking at it. I think Dallas might have a chance. I think Arizona could have a chance, but I'm really looking at it is if it's not the Rams and the Bucks for the NFC Championship, I'd be shocked. I think those two teams are clearly the best two teams in the NFC, just from my point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been said that the Rams before the season started was the best team in the league. Like
Mm,
I thought that heading to the season, I thought that they was better than the Chiefs, they was better than the Bucks,
mm.
and and yeah,
Yeah, I'm just really surprised that how all this came together so quick. I mean, Les Snead, the GM of the Rams, just probably said we got a good collection of talent here. We pretty much given away most of our first and second round picks, and I think like he probably thought this is our
yeah,
window right now to try to win a Super Bowl. So
yeah,
let's try
it
to
is
go
their
out
window right
there.
now. Like
Yeah,
who
so
gives
let's
you know what I mean?
go.
Like who gives a damn about draft picks if you're a Super Bowl caliber team? Like
Well,
you know what I mean? Like I
Authentic's
don't
been
blame
proving
them
that
for
point the entire time. He's like, why are more teams trying to go the Rams way and be like, try to invest some of those unknown draft picks that you're gonna have and try to put it into good players that could put you over the top for a Super Bowl and you already got a good collection of talent. Plus, you got a quarterback there that can take you to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yep,
And that's what they did. They got Von Miller, and now they got OBJ, and they're going to try to go all the way and try to get a Super Bowl or two. They can try to way to keep all those talented guys together for another year. So I mean, I got to give credit to the Rams where it's due. It's a hell of a job, and I mean, I want to see what this team could do when like they have all these guys out there on offense and defense, and see if they can keep all these guys healthy too, because that's another key. Can all these guys stay healthy on the field for the Rams? But they are my favorite
definitely.
right now to win the Super Bowl. I gotta say, they're clearly my favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Mm,
Most definitely.
yeah, because I mean, I look at the AFC side, and I know we talked about it last night on Pat Stream that a lot of people think the Titans are right now the best team in the AFC. I don't know. Right now, you can say they're the best team in the AFC, but who knows after this weekend? Maybe
Yeah,
the
they're
Colts
playing
could
like it.
emerge.
They're
They
playing
are,
like
but
it.
maybe after this weekend, the Colts could emerge as that team. Maybe the Chiefs could start upping up their game. Let's see who else. The Bills can have themselves a bounce back game and look like the Super Bowl perennial team again. So you really don't know. The AFC to me is so wide open that
It
anybody
is,
in that conference
especially
I
the
think could
AFC
take it.
West.
Oh my God, yeah. Everybody in the AFC and the AFC, was it the AFC
Truly
North?
speaking.
NFC
Yeah,
North, I think too. I mean, who's winning
yeah.
that division? The Ravens, I
The,
guess.
the AFC no, yeah, yeah. I got the Ravens winning the division, but it's looking like that the Browns could could take a step up.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I think the Browns might be rounding into form, but I just don't know if like their key guys on offense can stay healthy because Landry's battling that knee injury and Baker Mayfield's battling that shoulder injury he has. Can these guys stay healthy and be able to produce enough? And their offensive line has been banged up a lot. I think their defense will be all right. It's can they keep that offense on the field long enough to be able to make some plays? That's the thing with them. I think the Ravens right now are one of my favorite teams in the AFC. I really like what they're doing, especially the way Lamar Jackson's playing. I think Lamar Jackson's playing on another level right now with what he's had to deal
Yes, sir.
with the injuries to the running back position, the wide receivers going in and out of the lineup. They're missing their All-Pro left tackle. I mean, he's literally been carrying that team, and I got to give a lot of credit
Joe,
to him.
What's good, gentlemen?
Joel, what's up,
Oh
Joel?
man, keep going, man. I don't want to interrupt you. You're on a roll, Jeffrey.
No, 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 no. I want to hear. I love that symbol, by the way, man. It looks fire.
Thank you.
that's good. Yeah, that's
I
nice
love
right
it.
there.
I love it.
Yeah, you said Logan made that for you.
Me and Logan worked on it together. Yeah, he helped me learn how to do the program, and we were just talking and everything. And he's like, you know how we all have a trade name? And he's like, what do you want? And I was like, I never really thought about it. And then I started describing my channel, and I'm like, I base my channel off giving out secrets,
Hmm.
classified information, about football, fishing, family. I was like, hey, you know what? How about no secrets here? And so that's what I'm going to go with my trade saying.
I think it fits you perfectly.
Oh,
And I
thanks,
love the
guys.
logo. I love the logo too.
No, I
Big
just
time.
I'm working on my channels. You know, it's starting to grow a little bit here, and I want to make sure that people, if they're going to come and watch me, I give them, you know, all that I can do to create better content and you know, make it worthwhile watching me instead of just subbing and then it's like I'm not going to worry about that guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I told you, I told you and Pat the other night that I think you guys are going to start seeing your channels steadily grow up more and more as you know, the more content you guys put out, and the more the fans get to actually like, you know, see the kind of work that you guys do, and also the type of environment that you bring with like a lot of Giants fans, and including them in the discussions on StreamYard and everything in the chat. So I think that's really what I think I really appreciate, and that's why, like, you know, I can see the channels for all you guys starting to boost up big time. You too as well, Tosh. I can see it with everybody.
Yep.
I can see
Yeah.
you guys getting a following. But how do you feel about the news with Cam Newton and going back to the Panthers, and especially the OBJ news going to the Rams?
Oh wow, you guys are throwing the hard questions at me right off the bat. Okay, I got to turn the camera on for this. I don't look great, but you know what?
Yeah.
When you got long hair, it gets messy. I can't help it. Okay. Here's the biggest question on OBJ thing. Can you stay healthy?
That's a
Well,
great.
yeah, that's a good question there.
That
Like,
to me,
can
if
he
he
stay
stays
healthy?
healthy, this team has definitely got a lot of talent on it. This is not something that's going to be able to be, you know, guys are going to be gone next year. Von Miller, Odell Beckham. This is the Rams' year. If the Rams don't get a ring this year, this is a
Super Bowl
complete
or bust.
right. And then you know I
They
see.
gotta. Yeah.
What's that, Tosh?
They can't just only. Yeah, no, I said that they can't just only make it. They gotta win it.
Exactly. If this is boomer bust, there's no going back now after doing this.
They
I
put all their
mean,
poker chips in the middle of the table, and they said, "This we're going for it right
look,
now."
they did, and you know what? The Rams fans are probably, you know, going through the roof with excitement right now with everything on that team. They should definitely be the favorites right now from here on out, but health is a big concern. Who can stay healthy and who gets hot in a playoff run?
Mm-hmm.
We saw, you know, okay, let's look at the 2000 Ravens. Got healthy at the right time, got guys back, and won the Super Bowl.
And they
Got
had
on
an
a hot
all-star
streak, man.
defense
That
too.
defense just started balling out better than ever before.
Yeah, that might have been one of the best defenses I've ever seen since I've been watching football.
Me too. And unfortunately, my Giants came up against that defense. I mean, they were
Oh yeah.
just keeping everybody to like 10 points or less.
Hey,
But
well, thank
remember
God.
in that
The
Super
good
Bowl,
thing
Joel.
is,
Remember in that Super Bowl, Joel, we were a Jesse Armstead pick that should have been a pick, but it got called back from keeping that game tied, and it could have been a whole different story if that
I
stayed
know.
on the field. I'm like, that one drove me up a wall too. I'm like,
You know,
that actually stuck. We could have had a game. But
well, as far as the Rams going and getting them, you know what? We all pretty much figured it was the Rams, the Patriots, Kansas City. It was a contender. He's not going to go to like the Lions unless they picked him up.
yeah,
You know, and then you know that would have been a nightmare fiasco, media frenzy. It would have just been a nightmare. I'm so glad that things worked out for him.
it's good.
And
CEO.
you know what? Let's see if he is OBJ of old. He's got the perfect opportunity right now, going into a contract year next year, to get that second contract if he can get healthy. If he stays healthy and he's productive, what team out there is not going to offer him $20 million a year next year?
hmm I think another thing I'm looking forward to with OBJ, how is he going to react if, say, like in a game or a couple of games this season, if he gets maybe a few targets a game, is he going to be humble enough to be like, you know what, I'm here more for winning, or am I here to put myself out there and be like, I want the ball, I
That's
need the ball? That's what I'm
that
looking forward to.
that's another thing too. I mean, these are all
That's
great
another
points.
thing
And
over
look,
there.
we're not. I'm not an OBJ hater, but I'm not an OBJ lover.
Mm.
All right, I liked what he did for the team. But I think a lot of it has to do with the way the fans of the New York Giants are still dealing with us trading him. It's been, what, 3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like
been
two
about
years
three or
and a
4 years.
half.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And, it's like we get one side of the fan base, and I've said it. Okay, he's been injured the last 2 years. And it's like, look, Cleveland was supposed to be Super Bowl favorites 2 years ago, won a playoff game. Last year they were coming in to be favorites, and Odell got hurt again. Landry got hurt. The Browns were relying on the running game. Look, I get it. Cleveland's Cleveland, but they got a rich history too. I
Mhm.
mean, my God, the players that the Browns have had, they've had some really good players. They got championships. I mean, they might not have a Super Bowl, but they've got championships.
NFL championships.
They
Yeah,
have arguably
Yeah,
the greatest running back in the history of football with Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
exactly. So, we give them a hard time, and we say at least we're not the Browns and this and that. But
Slang.
they got something going for
Mhm.
them.
How
And
you doing, Slay?
everyone says that we sent Odell to the Browns to die. At the time that we traded Odell, I liked the trade. I really
Mhm.
did. One guy for three. I was like, man, one
Yeah,
guy's got to work out of that.
Mhm.
I get it,
yeah.
but more power. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully he balls out. Hopefully he shows us the Odell of old, because it would be fun to watch him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It will be fun to watch him on this Rams team.
I think he brings
But
one element to that team that they really haven't had probably all season now. That's including having Jackson there, and that's a true downfield threat.
well, who
They
the
can
hell are you
open
going to
up the
cover,
stuff from the
Odell
top.
or Cooper Kupp?
Or
Who the hell are you
Robert
going to
Woods
cover?
too. Or Robert Woods too has been getting a
Right.
lot of flack too. They got three guys out there that you're gonna have to try to double up. To me, it's like the Tampa Bay Bucks all over again. You got three guys
Yeah.
that could be number one receivers on any team, and
Man,
they're all on that same team.
I can't wait to see that game, Tampa Bay and the Rams. I cannot
Yeah.
wait.
I was just telling Taj about that before, that's actually my two teams that I think are going to be in the NFC Championship. I'm going with Tampa Bay, and I'm going with the Rams because I think they're the two most complete teams in the NFC when it comes to offense and defense.
Yeah, but now if the Giants beat
John
Tampa
Mason.
Bay next week.
Oh,
The Packers.
you know
the-
all Giants fans are going to be jumping back on board if they can pull
Yo.
that one off.
The Packers thought they had they thought they had a chance. Now the Rams just
No, they
stacked
offered
up.
him. The Packers
the
offered
minimum.
him league minimum,
Yeah,
veteran
because they
minimum.
haven't.
He wasn't
Because they
going
didn't
there.
sign Adams yet. They want to sign
Where?
Adams to a deal.
Where are the Rams coming up with all this goddamn money? Like, are they just
Well, all
like
right. Here's what's going
White
on.
House?
Okay, here's what's going on. Because Cleveland, because he cleared waivers, Odell Beckham gets $4.5 million from the Browns, guaranteed. So now, with him going to the Rams for like 1.5 million, he just turned that into 6. So the Rams are actually footing the big part of the bill, and that's why Odell's willing to play for 1.5 for the rest of the game and a chance at winning a ring. All right, Von Miller, most of his contract's paid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is it with the Rams, okay? If they don't win a Super Bowl this year, what happens to the Rams next year? They don't have any more picks to give away.
They got guys. Yeah. They don't have no picks. Like they got guys that are 1-year deals.
Yep.
And
what are they going to do in the next year or two?
I mean, this is it. They have maybe a 2-year window. So maybe
Yeah,
like a
one,
guy like
maybe
Von
two.
Miller or Beckham might want to come back on a minimum deal or something because they still want to have a chance of winning a ring. Yet we don't know.
My guy, it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, everybody's loving the way the Rams are doing everything right now. Look, I want to win a title too, but damn it, I would rather be a dominant team for the next 10 years than to have a chance at one, because nothing's a guarantee.
Yeah. And you got to figure, are these players looking more out for their next contract, or are they trying to look out for a Super Bowl right now? That's what you gotta think.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
just let the Rams fans be happy. It's been a
I
minute.
am happy for them.
Just
I
just
said
let
at the
them
beginning.
just let them get to their Super Bowl.
If you weren't late,
Have their
Ain't
little
going to no
fairy
damn
boy
Super Bowl.
ride, and then they're gonna go
TRL.
back. Hey
TRL,
Joe,
what's
it's
up,
okay.
man?
They're gonna go back to sucking again in the future, like we are right now, and then
TRL, how you doing? Nice to be able to talk with you on the chat.
Hey,
No, well, I mean, Slay, but the Rams
I'm
have been a
honestly
good team
like
for
I'm
years.
I'm so like I'm rather confused than I am salty. Actually, CEO. Like if Odell really cared about getting involved more, like he clearly went to the Rams to win. He doesn't want to do anything else but win. That's clear as day now.
Oh yeah, he looked at the Rams as the easiest place to get a Super Bowl ring because he sees that team. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a minimum amount of money. I'm gonna go over there and try to win a ring with Matt Stafford. Can't blame him, but at the same time, I mean, is anybody
But
really
like
surprised?
I think it's good and bad for the Rams. And the reason why I say good is because it's still OBJ. He's still going to be good there. But like it's bad because if the Rams don't take it all the way this year, then they're screwed. They have no cap space. They have no draft picks. They have tons of free agents to try to re-sign next year. Like they're screwed if they don't win this year.
Yeah, they pretty much pushed all their chips in the middle of the table and be like, this has got to be our year where we got to take it all the way. And if we don't, then it's going to be hell next year. I mean, so I think McVay, Snead, all those guys in that organization realize that they have to find a way to pull it off this year. And I think that's why they brought in Von Miller. They traded for Von Miller and they signed Beckham because they thought they were close enough to a Super Bowl and they needed those one or two pieces to put them over the top. So
okay. When you look at that Rams roster and compare it to the Bucks, when you just look at it purely, their defensive line, now that you add Von Miller like a couple weeks ago, it matches up just a little bit with their offensive line, even though the Bucks offensive line is really good.
well, let's not forget that the Rams laid an egg.
Yeah, but they also did beat the Buccaneers a few weeks back ago, I think.
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of the Buccaneers. And now that you add OBJ, and the Bucks already have that ridiculous trio of receivers, you match up in the receivers. And, the Rams secondary isn't really that bad. You have Jalen Ramsey, the best corner in the game. You have Taylor Rapp, who's an emerging safety. You also have Darius Williams, who's an
I remember
underrated
him having that
cornerback.
bad game against us, intercepted Daniel
Exactly.
Jones twice.
So you have all these guys in the secondary, plus the best corner in the game. Not to mention the best what I call it. He's the best defender in the game. I'll just say it that way. Aaron Donald. Yep, Aaron Donald. You have the best defender in the game, Aaron Donald. And now you add OBJ. I don't know how you're going to stop that team. I really don't know how you're going to stop that team.
Oh, that team could be stopped. They could be stopped.
They got stopped last week.
Yeah. They could be stopped.
Come on.
They can, but that team just got twice as much better.
What has Odell Beckham Jr. done the last couple of years for you to feel that way?
Well, here's the thing. I get that he wasn't like being productive. But you also have to understand that Baker Mayfield, I really don't think he was throwing the ball his way. Like, I seen OBJ get open and he didn't get the ball. So you also can't blame him in that sense because OBJ got open a lot, but he never got the ball. So, and that's why a lot of people in fantasy were probably also mad that he didn't get the ball and stuff. But not fantasy not fantasy now. But you look at OBJ and you understand that he's going to a really good team with the Rams, who already has two elite receivers. Cooper Kupp, who is looking like the best receiver in football right now. And
so Jarvis Landry wasn't that good?
He was, but he's not like Cooper Kupp status. I don't think he's that good. Like, you have two elite
Landry's very good, but he's been banged up this year. So
exactly.
And so has OBJ. That's why I said the first thing out of my mouth was, can he stay healthy? If he does, He's
Yes, and I
definitely an
agree.
addition to the team. But
And
if
I
he's
agree.
not, but
And
I'm not gonna crown him right now. I can't do
No,
it.
no.
yes, and
Only
I
because
agree.
only
I see
because
where
they
you're
got
coming.
they played a goose egg last week.
Yes, and I see where you're coming from.
So if OBJ and Von Miller play, and I'm seeing a different team out there, okay, then you know what? I'm going to give them their props. But I don't like their future. I like their year this year. But
Hey, what's good, y'all?
nothing's a guarantee. What's
How you
good?
Giants
doing?
Nation.
Yep. And I also see where
Hey,
you're coming from in the sense of like if these guys that they just got in Von Miller and OBJ, if they go down who they just picked up, what is that going to be for them? And I get where you're coming from with that statement, but I only look at what
hey,
they have right now.
can you guys hear me?
That team is too
Yeah,
good.
we
Uh,
can hear you.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear
I can
you.
hear you. Yeah.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
bet. Because
Giants
I'm like
Nation.
walking outside. I'm not even home. I literally just got off work. But I wanted to explain my part about the Odell signing. I think it's a
Mm.
great signing.
Mhm.
I feel like the Rams are going all in right now. And I honestly believe Matthew Stafford is going to give Odell Beckham the Calvin Johnson treatment where he's going to force feed him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. I just feel like Baker and Odell just didn't fit together. Like Baker and Jarvis fit together. Like Baker made the play lights out against the Bengals as soon as Odell was off. Before Odell came back, Baker Mayfield was throwing for like 200, 300 yards. As soon as he comes back, he can barely get 200 yards. Honestly, it just didn't fit. It's the NFL. It is what it is. Some people fit, some people don't. It's just you got to move on. So
Yeah, but do you think
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea for them to force feed Odell that entire time instead of
No,
trying to
I
split
don't.
to throw the
No.
ball around to all their guys, whoever has the one-on-one matchup more, the favorable matchup?
I mean,
That's
like
what I would do.
their offense is built to run the ball.
Yeah,
That's what's going to speed up their
The Rams
offense, is to
offense?
run the ball.
The Rams offense?
So the Browns
Yeah,
offense.
that's what I'm saying. The
yeah. The Rams'
Rams don't
offense
have
is more of a passing team
yeah,
than they are a
it's
running
not
team.
like balanced.
yeah, that's
With
why I feel like
Baker,
Odell's gonna.
yeah,
That's why I feel like Odell.
with
That's why I
Baker,
feel like
he's
Odell's
not
gonna do
like
great. So.
yeah. Baker's a good quarterback, but he's not Matthew Stafford. He can toss it around to other players, but you're gonna have to start looking at guys like Odell Beckham Jr., who got open, but you never threw the ball to. So, hey man, I think the
I
Rams
still
are they're gonna be really good this year.
I still think Cooper Kupp is going to be the number one option on that team because him and Stafford just have a connection right now. Those two are
Yeah,
just
Cooper
clicking on
Cup
all
is
cylinders.
he's like the best receiver in football as of
Yeah.
today.
He's going to be the one that demands the double coverage, and I think they're going to be sending Odell a lot on 9 routes and maybe like some slants. Try to take advantage of his speed in open fields and see if he can take it to the house. And Robert Woods is going to be, I think, more of the intermediate guy over the middle, as well as Tyler Higbee. They got a lot of guys on that offense that you have to account for, and you got to figure out who am I going to double cover on that offense? Am I double cover Cup and take a chance of leaving Odell one-on-one? And if I try to double up Cup and Odell, am I going to take a chance of using Robert Woods on a one-on-one? So it's a very the aspect that
Watch, mute him real quick. There's like a whole error
Yeah.
background.
Yo, Giants Nation, I'm gonna mute you real quick.
All right, Joe, what were you saying?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Okay, it looks to me like you guys are expected Stafford to drop back 40, 50 times a game. We all
No,
know that's not winning football.
No, they're going to have to drag in a balance too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, so if you look at the guys they have on that team right now, all right, and you figure there's 65 plays a game, and if you balance that, that might be 35 passing, 35 running.
Yeah.
They got 5 wide receivers that are studs. Okay, how many targets is that? And then who has the hot hand? Because you always go to the receiver with a hot hand.
Mm-hmm.
That is like you brought up earlier, Jeffrey. Is Odell going to be all right with just having 1 or 2 targets and then the media coming after him like they're coming after Kadarius Toney? You only got 1 target. How you feeling about that? And OBJ is going to give him a headline.
Yeah. And is Odell going to be okay if like they try to favor up? Because the best thing for the Rams to do is every week they play with those three guys out there at wide receiver, they're going to try to pick a matchup that they feel like they can exploit the most, and not try to force
Exactly.
feed. Not like be like, you know what, Odell is going to start whining if he doesn't get the ball, or whoever is going to start complaining if they don't get the ball. We need to make sure that we got to get the ball to this guy all the time. They got to try to spread it around and
Yeah,
take advantage.
exactly.
The Bucs do. The Bucs do it perfectly with their three guys. They
You
spread that
can.
ball around to make sure everybody gets the ball on whoever has that
And they
favorable
can they keep a
matchup.
running game going.
Exactly.
No,
And
that's
I just want to say one more quick thing. With OBJ, you can
you're
use
good,
him
Johnny
with end
Sanchez.
rounds. You can use him with end rounds. Like I saw it, what was it, a couple of years ago when the Browns played Dallas. I seen OBJ have like 5 catches for 82 yards, and most of that came from, I think it was, it was mostly coming from the Cowboys secondary being really terrible, but they use him in end rounds when he was there, and he did really good with that. So you can use Cooper Kupp in the passing game, and you can, take a good advantage, like a good disadvantage on a team, and just use Cooper Kupp and just beat the hell out of that team, and still use OBJ and Robert Woods, and still balance it out with the offense and the running game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams have a making on offense, especially to be very, very more dynamic than they've ever been. They've just got to try to make sure that they keep everybody healthy and that they try to distribute that ball to everybody evenly, and make sure that there's no internal issues where like there's anybody in that office that could be complaining because of lack of targets. Because right now they should be all about winning. They have
What
the
up,
formula
Sean?
right now on the team to win. So,
Sean, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
how you doing?
Oh my God.
Hey,
Yo, Sean, man, what you think, man?
I would say I was a little surprised. I didn't think the Rams would be the choice. Um, that being said, obviously, it makes them better. I think the big question I have to the guy who was speaking before point, you're just gonna have to find some unique ways to get Odell the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna be
Yeah.
just to drop back and throw the ball to Cooper and to Robert Woods and to Van Jefferson and to Odell. I think they're gonna have to, and Sean McVay can do that. But also, it's not lost on me that Jackson asked out because the targets just weren't there for him. And I'm not saying Deshaun Jackson's Odell Beckham; they're obviously two different players, but it's just only so many targets to go around. So I'd be, a little watching that just to see how many targets they're able to spread around and how many, things they're able to design to get all of those guys touches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trick of the whole thing. Can they pull it off? Can they be able to distribute the ball around to all these guys while also maintaining a good running game as well with Henderson and Michelle?
Yeah.
They could. They could make it happen. It's just like, we got to see it. And can all these guys stay on the field healthy too?
Yeah.
The offensive line is key as well. Can they protect Stafford?
No, the Rams are making a mistake that we did a couple of years ago with, giving up picks and trying to go all in for just 1 year. We won the Super Bowl that year, but then again, we were screwed the next years that came after that Super Bowl. So I think the Rams have to be very smart with their picks, and right now they're just going all in. They don't care.
No, they already realized that their future is going to be very bleak in terms of draft picks and stuff. So they realize, you know what? We're not worried about the future right now. We're just going to try to go all out and try to bring home a Lombardi trophy, because the next few years after might be painful, but at the same time, we want to have at least that Super Bowl on our resume. They're like, we were able to bring it home, and I think that's what the Eagles did. The Giants did it too. Giants did it too when they won those Super Bowls. I mean, we knew the future was going to be a little painful afterwards, but, the Super Bowls were worth it. And the Eagles, same thing. Sometimes teams are willing to mortgage the future just to bring home a Lombardi trophy, and it's understandable.
It's a hard thing to do, man. I mean, that Lombardi is. Now, did the Rams play the 49ers Monday night this week?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
That'd be a good game.
And one thing to say about Les Snead, the GM for the Rams,
Mhm.
he's not a person who thinks about draft picks in the traditional way, because he's always looking at the fact that if you look at where the revenues are going with the NFL, the cap's going to go up every year. So they'll
Mhm.
figure out ways to fill out their roster with those cap spikes every year. So the picks don't mean as much to them because they're in LA. People want to come to LA. They're in LA. It's beautiful. It's LA. So picks don't mean to them what they mean to Buffalo or Green Bay or
Bro, if you're a
Pittsburgh.
Super Bowl
Good
contending
point.
team, who gives a damn about
Right.
draft picks?
Yeah.
He wants the more well known, like the more proven guy than a draft pick, which you don't really know about if you don't know if it's going to be a hit or a miss. That's
Right.
what I think what they're going for. They're going for the more proven guys than they are with the guys that could potentially be a miss, and we've seen in the drafts, which I completely respect for what he's doing.
Yeah. Now, eventually, if they don't win the Super Bowl, they're going to pay the piper.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know?
mean
Yeah.
they
That's what I'm
have to win
saying.
it. This
Super Bowl or
is
bust.
yeah.
Mhm.
Can't just only make it. They gotta win it. They gotta win it.
And you gotta
Maybe
say the
this
same thing
will.
for the Bucks too. The Bucks are sort of in that same situation. I mean, they got a lot of guys on that team that are on what 1 year contracts,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
2 year contracts. So I mean, eventually that team is going to be broken apart too. Eventually, when Tom Brady decides to hang it up, and you got a lot of these veteran players on 1 year deals. I mean, Godwin, Brown, Barrett. I think JPP's on a 1 year deal. Not
OJ
sure about
Howard.
Vita Vea, the
OJ
Dominican
Howard.
Sue,
Howard.
OJ Howard. They got a lot of guys that are on Chris Godwin, a lot of guys that could be gone after this year. So the Bucks and the Rams are two teams that are just trying to, pretty much trying to go for it now to get that ring. Bucks were able to do it. Now the Rams are going for it.
It definitely makes it interesting. Wow, what
It
a football
does.
season.
Yes. You got Aaron Rodgers, Brady, and Stafford all going for it this year.
Yeah. But it begs the question, right? Because I have this argument with friends of mine about, is one ring really worth mortgaging your entire future, or is it better to build a team that's competitive every year and competing year in and
That's
year out for Super Bowl?
that's $1 million question right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing it with some Giants fans on Twitter that they would like to do what the Rams are doing. I get it. We've been bad for so long, but I'd rather try to create a dynasty, to tell you the truth, because I'd rather have 10 or 15 teams winning football 10, 11, 12 games a year
Yeah.
than, one and done and be bad for another 5, 10 years. Well, you have to wait for this to all clear and the salaries, and
Yeah.
Giants never had a dynasty.
I feel the same way as you, Joel. I mean, we've already tried twice to pay for big time free agents to try to win now, and it's blown up in our face twice. So
Yep.
at this point, I'd rather try to build through the draft, get in some young guys that can be part of the core going forward instead of paying all these high priced free agents. A good amount of times they miss more than they hit. So I mean, they got to try a different route, and they got to start hitting on more of these draft picks consistently, which I think they are starting to do that. From the
Yep.
Giants' perspective, at least, they are.
Even the Eagles still do that nowadays too. Like Howie Roseman, he was doing that in the offseason last year where he still tried to get like a couple big name players. Like Anthony Harris isn't really a big name player, but a lot of people know him in the
Told
NFL.
you guys, Slay, I told you, you guys are going through Reese syndrome, and y'all didn't want to believe me.
We keep doing the same things that
I
we're
told
doing.
you you're going through Jerry Reese syndrome.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Reese is a different argument, though.
I don't know between the two of them.
Yeah.
Between
I feel like Howie's a little more like was Jerry Reese like a good was he like a bad draftee or like a good
At the
like
beginning of his tenure, he was good. He did a
was
pretty
good
good
at the
job with some
beginning,
of the picks.
but-
Yeah.
But what happens is when you hit early on in your tenure,
Yeah.
you start to miss later on. And if you
Mhm.
just, I mean, it's historically how it's always been. If you look at, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day, they always drafted
Yeah.
well. Then they went through like
They
a 5 or
always
6 year run where they didn't draft well at all, and they were terrible for a decade, basically because of it.
Yep.
Because
Well,
the league has changed a lot.
a lot of that has to do is, when you're bad, you're picking top 10, top 12.
Right.
But
Exactly.
when you're winning football games, after about 5 or 10 years, you're losing your youth. I mean, you're picking at the bottom end of the draft each round. I
Yeah.
mean, you're getting down there, so you're not getting the talent that you were getting
Yeah.
to get your team really good. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that did hinder him. But
Yeah, and the Steelers were like a run heavy team,
like
in that decade too.
because I mean, if you look at Jerry Reese, he does the
Even back in the
same
day with
thing that Howie Roseman
Jerome
did.
Bettis.
I mean, reaching for players. Roseman's using analytics. The guy Reese wanted the team would go up ahead of him and pick him, and then it's like, okay, what do I do now? I've got nobody as a backup anymore, so I'll take Eric Flowers.
Right.
that was Jerry Reese.
And don't forget
that's the
about that.
danger. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's the danger of when you miss in previous drafts, you find yourself reaching the draft for need.
Yep.
Because Eric Flowers was a reach because they had missed in previous drafts with offensive linemen. So
Yep.
they felt the need to reach and get Eric Flowers, who everybody said coming out of Miami was very raw. He was not a guy you want to drop in there from day one to play. He needed time.
Coming from the U.
Yeah.
And he was projected to be a guard too. And also, don't forget about that draft when we picked up Eli Apple. We originally were trying to go after. We were originally trying to go after Leonard Floyd or Jack Conklin. I remember Jerry Reese tipped his hand. Chicago and Tennessee both jumped us to get those two players right before we had it because Jerry Reese tipped his hand, and pretty much told those teams the Giants want Leonard Floyd or they want Jack Conklin. So what did Tennessee and Chicago do? They both jumped in front of us and got those guys, and then we scrambled and panicked, and Jerry Reese decided, you know what? Eli Apple looks like the best player left on the board.
Eli Apple wasn't even the best corner. Eli Apple wasn't even the best cornerback available.
That was not a good corner draft. If you remember, after Jalen Ramsey, the corners were all really bad because
that Hargrave too.
Hargrave got overdrafted. Eli Apple got overdrafted. Like
then Xavier Howard got drafted.
He was a third round pick, if I remember correctly.
Third round.
Yeah, see, Howie's the guy that he does the same thing. I think it was that draft when Brandon Cooks got selected by the Saints. Howie Roseman had the chance to take him, and he didn't. And the Saints overjumped us and took Cooks.
Giant Station, my guy, I hear you because I would love to have a guarantee too, but unfortunately in the NFL, there's no guarantees. I mean, everything the Rams are doing, there's no guarantee. They're looking really good. They're going to definitely be the favorites on paper, but we all seen how that works. I mean,
guarantees mean nothing.
And because of that, that's why I would rather be Green Bay right now than the Rams. Because Green Bay every year, is going to win 10, 11, 12 games.
Putting into a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Seattle. They won 9, 10, 11, 12 games a year. That's what I want, man. I want winning football. I want, we're not sitting here stressing about the division. We could talk smack with the division because we're on top. We're winning the most games. We're not sitting here having to look at the damn ESPN going, yep. Yeah, the Giants have won like 15 games the last 4 years. They're garbage. I'd rather hear the experts say, well, we've got no one to get us over the top. And I'd rather listen to that crap than to be at a cellar dweller.
Man, Super Bowls matter too. I don't want that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's I always tell people at the expense of what, right? Because you can win a Super Bowl, but it's not just winning one because anybody can win one. Even a garbage can gets a steak.
Right.
And you come back and keep yourself in contention to continue to win.
It feels like the Giants sold their soul after those 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. It's like, you know what? You guys got those 2 Super Bowls, but you guys are going to be bad for the next 10, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that. Bad draft picks, poor free agent signings, injuries galore, bad coaching,
mismanagement,
bad ownership.
Yo, we got the same problems too. The Eagles got bad ownership, bad GM,
But go ahead,
bad
Well,
Sean.
listen. In y'all's division,
running.
Eagles and Giants fans should never complain because at least y'all have won Super Bowls in this
No,
millennium.
yeah. Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
We
we're
have
the only
Super
division. We're the
Bowls.
only division like to have all four teams winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
only
I mean,
took
no,
the
I'm
Eagles
no.
50 years to catch up, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
Hey,
I,
but
the championships before the Super Bowl happened should count as well as
okay, then I got 8.
Yeah.
okay. We're not that much far back too.
Oh,
So,
you
I
are?
made you win. I made you win, Sly.
like 2, I think.
Giants had like 4 or 5.
We had 4. We got 8 with 4 before the Super Bowl era and 4 after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Giants
So
have a lot of championships.
we're
under them.
collectively a good division with
You know,
championships and Super Bowls.
Yeah, historically, we're the best division.
If we,
Oh, yeah.
if we,
oh,
yeah, if we
Washington. I know
combine,
the Red Washington football team has 3. They got 3 Super Bowls.
Washington got
Right.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were dominant in the 80s. They did.
Oh
they
my
did,
God,
they
were
were
they
the most
ever?
dominant team in the NFC, in the NFC East in the 80s. I mean, they were
collectively,
dominant. They
yeah.
were the dominant team in the NFC East in the 80s. The Cowboys were the 90s. The Eagles, I guess, were like the beginning of the 2010s.
McNabb era, they were
2000s.
dominant, but they
Yeah.
they went to one
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Eagles were the most
They went to
consistently
one Super
good.
Bowl and lost.
Eagles have been the most consistent team in the NFC because they've been a solid team for probably the longest out of all the teams in the NFCs. They've always been around like a good team. Where like the Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants would be like flip flopping around
For
in like
T.O.
2000.
Yeah, for
So
T.O. playing with a broken leg in the Super Bowl and still playing the way he did in
Terrell
that
Owens didn't have a
Bowl against-
broken leg.
Yeah, he did. They literally even said it in the game. It
No,
didn't
he
look
did
like
not.
he had a
He
bad leg.
had foot surgery at the beginning of the year, and he was able to come back if they got to the Super
Still played
Bowl,
through
and he
an injury,
came
though.
back.
He still played through an injury. He did, and it said it too. So he played through an injury, and we still.
How
could've
many other
won.
guys played through an injury? You want somebody that
In
really
the
played
Super
with a
Bowl,
broken
though,
leg
Super Bowl.
in the
The
Super
Super
Bowl? Jack Youngblood.
Youngblood. Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Other players?
that's a guy that played with a broken leg.
Yeah, but
Those guys play injured and hurt all the time in a Super Bowl.
Plaxico Burress was playing with a torn ligament in his ankle during the Super Bowl.
Right.
so
Played through the whole
But-
entire thing. Didn't practice at all. Did
We
not
should've
practice at
won
all
that
during the
game,
Super Bowl
though.
run.
like the way T.O. played, we should have won that game for him. Like if we won that game against the Patriots in 2004, we should have given the MVP, the Super Bowl MVP, to T.O. because it takes a lot of
Wasn't that the game that McNabb choked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. He went out and got drunk the night before the Super Bowl.
Well, let's also remember the Patriots did have those cameras on the Eagles practices. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my
Spygate.
goodness. Spygate. Spygate.
What was it? Spygate, Deflategate, what other gates?
Everything.
Oh my God.
Everything
I don't
gate.
know.
Yeah,
That's why I have such a
there's playbook gate.
That's why I have
Playbook
such
gate.
a hard time crowning Brady the GOAT, because you know damn well Belichick was taking advantage of every friggin'
I know
opportunity he
Sean,
could.
you know me, he don't like Tom Brady.
Yo,
Look,
there.
I don't
yeah.
hate Tom Brady, Todd. Let me be clear. I don't hate Tom Brady.
No. Like, but you just like don't crown him as like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
No, because the thing is again, I always tell people he's not the best to ever play the position. He's the most winningest.
Yes.
To ever play the position.
I agree with that.
There's a
Mhm.
difference. I've seen better quarterbacks than Tom Brady.
It's hard to
Dan
really say
Marino.
who's the best. It's
Talent
hard to really
wise,
say the best. 'Cause you
talent
have to
wise,
give different
Mahomes is
eras.
probably going to be up there in the future by far. Like Aaron Rodgers right now, I think you
You
can
need
crown
to
him.
watch. You need to watch film on Holmes, my guy.
Yeah, I get that. But
Is he really?
just the talent
I
that
think
he
Mahomes is starting
has.
to get exposed
No,
a little
he
bit.
is starting to get exposed, but the talent that he has in the future, he should be he should be crowned probably the greatest talent at the QB position, probably next to Rodgers and Marino. But there's a lot of other guys in this league that has played before Brady that have better talent than Brady, like Marino, Archie wasn't even like really that bad of a runner.
I'm
He
not
was
a, I
fine.
hated Jim Kelly, but Jim
Yeah,
Kelly
Jim
was better
Kelly.
than Marino or
That
Mahomes.
quarterback class was great. That quarterback class thing was Elway, Marino,
Oh
Aikman, Kelly.
yeah.
Yep.
That was one of the greatest
Oh God,
quarterback classes.
who the hell did the Jets take that year?
Ken O'Brien.
Oh right, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Aaron,
I
wasn't there a
listened
draft?
to Joe Beningo for years, like saying, all these guys took these great quarterbacks. We had a chance to get Dan Marino, and we took Ken friggin' O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah, I remember hearing
Hey,
that. Yeah,
who was
he
who
still
was
goes
that
off
one
on that.
quarterback?
He does.
Yeah,
I love it.
in the Brady class, there was one quarterback. Was it Pennington that went in the first round for the Jets?
Chad Pennington went to the
Yep,
Jets. Yeah,
yeah. There was
He's
a
a
lot
good
of
quarterback. Chad
he
Pennington
wasn't
was
a
a
bad
good quarterback.
quarterback.
He was
Here-
good.
Chad Pennington
him-
wasn't bad.
him- He wasn't bad, but
He just had shoulder issues. He had
Yeah.
I think he had a shoulder surgery that really took away his arm strength. He had nothing. He
Yep.
fluttered the ball, but he was
Yep.
accurate as could be. He was pinpointing on his passes. He was smart. He was a good quarterback until eventually his arm injury just got
Yeah.
the best of him.
but the
One of
other
the best quarterbacks I've
quarterbacks,
seen in the Jets.
the other quarterbacks other than Brady, they weren't really that good. Martin, I think, was a couple picks before Brady.
That's just like
Tom
this
Brady wasn't
quarterback
even that
class.
good of a prospect in that year's draft.
It's like the quarterback class coming out this next draft. I mean, oof, there's a lot of questions on it, but I still say at least three go in the top 10 because teams are going to reach.
This
That
is going to
Jared
be like
Goff
2011 all over again.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see teams like they did in that Cam Newton draft after Cam Newton reaching for Jake Lockers and Christian
Willie
Ponder.
Christian Ponder.
Oh my God.
Blaine Gabberts is going to
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
Gabbert, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's still in the league too. He's been a backup everywhere. You see Blaine Gabbert. I'm like, how this guy's still in the
he's back up
league?
in Tampa.
Yeah, I'm surprised that guy's still in the league. But also, can we get a fair evaluation now in the 2018 draft class, that famous draft class with the quarterbacks with Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Mason,
Baker
Lamar
Mayfield.
Jackson, Mason Rudolph, those guys, like the big six. I mean,
Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
I mean, we were dead wrong on Lamar Jackson. I mean,
what about that draft with Wentz and Goff and Dak? There wasn't really that much good quarterbacks that year.
Paxton Lynch was horrendous.
There wasn't that many good quarterbacks that year.
Wentz and Goff didn't even last on their own teams. They just
Exactly
got paid a bunch of money, and they both got traded the next off season. So yeah, that wasn't a great.
You know what? The one that stunk the most and walked off with the most money is Sam Darnold.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was dead wrong on him.
But remember, too, Carson Wentz asked out of Philly. Philly didn't want to trade Carson Wentz. They wanted to keep Carson Wentz. He asked out of Philly.
He asked for it.
And it did help his case. It did help his case that there was another quarterback right there that was ready to get the opportunity. Well, not ready, but he could have taken the opportunity.
Well, that was Howie Roseman. What the hell are you thinking when you already paid your quarterback? How much money did they pay him? Like what? Like over
100, over 100, like 50 million, I think.
Yeah, you pay a quarterback over 150 million, then
no,
you draft the quarterback in the
million.
second round. What is that telling Carson Wentz?
But remember, this Philly. What Philly has always done is they've always invested second and third round picks in quarterbacks they think they can develop. AJ Feely, remember, he was like a second round pick. I'm trying to remember the other guys they drafted. Kevin Cobb. That's what they do. They have a franchise guy, but they invest in They view themselves as a quarterback factory, and they end up flipping AJ Feely to the Dolphins for like 2 second-round picks. Stupid Dolphins, but I mean that's what they do. So when they drafted Jalen Hurts, I said they're not drafting him for the long term. They're drafting him to develop him and possibly flip him to a team that may have a quarterback need down the line.
And they had no idea that it would really affect Carson Wentz that much because Carson Wentz just went into a shell after they did that.
And we had the chance to take Jeremy Chin, or what was the other guy that we could have taken? We could have taken another guy. Probably forgetting his name, but we could have taken Jeremy Chin that year in the second round, and the scouts said they wanted him, but Howie went the opposite route and took Jalen Hurts.
Well, also remember too, Howie drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside
Exactly.
because the owner wanted him,
Yep.
and more especially the owner's son wanted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah. It's run by the owner and
They
the
could have had DK Metcalf.
like that's you want a creative like group and not just two people deciding what to do for your entire franchise.
Right.
When your ownership is getting too involved in the personnel
Exactly.
business, then you know you're going to have a problem. That's what's been the problem with the Eagles and the way with the Giants. The owners have been getting too involved with the personnel and not allowing the
Way too
coaches and the
involved.
GMs to do their jobs. And
That's why
it's gonna mess up the team.
that's why a lot of people there's a lot of people that are fans of the Eagles want to sell the team instead of just firing people left and right, and
Well,
you still have
they gotta
Laurie
move
running
Howie.
the team.
They got to get rid of Howie.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah, Howie's the root of your problem right now. They need to get him out of there.
Yeah, he is terrible.
But Jeffrey
Yeah.
Lurie trusts him way too much, and he's got to stop. He's got to move on.
Yeah.
Well, Slay, do you think at the end of this season, say if the Eagles finish the season poorly, do you think Howie Roseman is going to be let go, or do you think they're going to keep him on?
No, I think he's gone after this
He's
season.
gone.
There's just no way I can see him coming back. There's
What if
really
they
no
go-
way I see him coming back.
What happens if they go on some type of run and they win like 8 or 9 games? I'm just saying, like in a fairy tale world, they win 8 or 9 games.
I could see that happening. If that happens, I think Howie stays for one more year, and then let's say it comes to the off season, and Laurie and Howie have like a couple conversations, and then Laurie says, "If we're not good this year, then your career here is in jeopardy in terms of being the GM," and he's gone after the next season if that happens. But I think he's gone after this season.
I think his job has been too safe.
Yeah.
I think Howie Roseman's job is he's felt too comfortable in that organization, and Jeff Lurie hasn't really given him he hasn't really urged him to be like, you got to start turning it around right now. Well, you guys or you're gone, like you're out of here at the end of the season. He just seems way too comfortable in that front office role, and that's a problem. You got to try to make keep people on ice when they're not getting the job done. You be like, your job's in jeopardy. You're on a hot seat. You're on thin ice unless you start taking this team and moving it around. And that's how same thing is like with Dave Gettleman. Fairly or not fairly, you got to look at the results business. And, I mean, Gettleman has started to pick better. He started to draft a little bit better. He's made some nice signings. But what is everybody going to look at ultimately in the end? They're going to look at that record that he's accumulated since he's been the GM, since he was took over in 2018. It's not good. And if they don't equate the amount of wins, Gettleman will be gone.
I really don't think he's a bad GM. I just feel like the injuries are the thing that's holding that team back.
It's just bad luck.
The injuries
not a
are
bad
holding
GM.
them.
I think that's some of it, but I think Gettleman has to take some responsibility for the fact that he hasn't evolved to the new age of the NFL.
Yeah, he has.
It's not just him. It's everybody in that coaching staff too.
Yeah,
I think they play with the mentality of like the 80s and the 90s version of the NFL, and sometimes they don't modernize themselves up to the 2021 game. Especially our favorite offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett.
Right.
Sometimes he's still stuck in the 1990s way of football. And even Joe Judge too. Joe Judge is at fault too because he still runs his team sort of like that 90s way as well.
Yeah, Joe Judge is the one that approves the game plan.
And then you got to look at the ownership as well. John Mara's the same way. John Mara's the same exact way.
And to think about from front office perspective, you might get to hire 2 coaches. Rarely do you get to stay on long enough to hire a third head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if Gettleman stays, he'll be able. If they get rid of Judge, he'll be hiring his third head coach.
Yep.
And that's not good.
Hey, Taj, I want to thank you for having me on, guys. I got to scoot here for a little bit. I got a few things to do before I do my thing later tonight.
I'll see you on I'll see you on the stream later on tonight.
Oh, you're gonna be streaming. Yeah, you're gonna be streaming the game tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll
be on about 8:10.
All right, I'll see you on there with Pat and the others.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. And again, thanks for having the combo.
No problem. Have a good one, Joel.
All right.
No, but I mean with It's just an altogether problem with the organization with the Giants. It starts with the ownership. I think John Mara has been too much meddling in with the personnel moves. I think a lot of the Saquon Barkley move, as much as the Giants and our fans love Saquon Barkley, I think that was John Mara trying to put his nose into that business because he wanted Eli Manning to be able to, have at least another year or two of his career to go out on like a
Yeah,
high note.
yeah,
So that's why I think Saquon Barkley was drafted. When in reality, this team should have been rebuilding and building in some new offensive linemen, some defensive linemen, building from the foundational side. And I think in terms of I don't think I'm really starting to believe Joe Judge is going nowhere after the season
Yeah, I
because
don't think he's gonna go nowhere.
record wise, I don't think they want to go and have another coach come in after another 2 year spell
Nah,
like they did with
I
McAdoo
say,
and then they
I
do
say
with
they would have to go. I say they would have to stay for one more year. That's what I think.
yeah.
But yeah, you could have had the chance to took in Herbert, but he stayed back another year. So let's say y'all could
Now,
have
like
had,
if Justin Herbert, the thing is, like,
yeah,
if Justin Herbert, like, didn't go back to school, like, bro, like, we probably like would have picked him instead of before
exactly.
we would have to go for Daniel Jones.
Yes,
Hmm.
exactly.
Exactly. So if y'all had that and y'all could have taken Herbert,
Yeah,
then y'all would be fine because the teams that the Giants have had over the past 2 years haven't really been that bad. It's just injuries have been holding y'all back, just like
yeah,
the
like Justin
injuries have
Herbert,
been
like,
holding us
should have
back a
been on
little for a
Jones.
couple
I
years.
can't even say we'd be fine because at the same time, who's protecting Justin Herbert? Because that offensive line's been a disaster for 10 years. So we need to get some offensive linemen in there first before we went out and got our franchise quarterback. That's the problem. Is we
Yeah,
didn't
I
we
get
didn't
that,
build the foundation of the O line.
but Herbert, I don't think he had he had the good offensive line in his first year. His offensive line wasn't really that good either,
they
and
were
he's
okay.
still
They were
played.
okay. They were okay.
Yeah, it
They
was
were,
okay.
Yeah,
It was okay.
he still played good. So
yeah, I think that the question the Giants have to ask themselves as an organization is in the last 3 years, have they done everything they can to make sure Daniel Jones is set up to grow and be successful?
hmm
Like that's the
Um,
question they gotta ask, like
they have to
themselves.
ask that question because I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know. I don't. I mean, outside looking in, I don't know if they've done that
Yeah, because
after.
we still don't know the real evaluation of Daniel Jones just yet.
Right.
No,
yeah,
And
he,
that, yeah. So
he doesn't have a consistent offense. The offensive line's a disaster. I mean, they've been injured, banged up this year, and even when they were healthy, we were very questionable because they didn't add any other pieces.
right,
To pretty much everybody on that O line was a question mark. Even Andrew Thomas, we weren't 1,000% sure on. The
right,
playmakers, we all said, every single one of us were like, okay, we got Barkley, we got Galladay, we got Shepard, we got Slayton, we got Tony, we got Ingram, we got Rudolph, we got all these guys in here. Can they stay healthy? Well, we got our answer so far in 9 games. Everybody but Kyle Rudolph has missed at least a game this season. So that was
right,
a question about that. And
right.
also at the same time, the play calling has been very suspect because, in my opinion, Joe Judge and Jason Garrett haven't put their trust in Daniel Jones to try and sling the rock around to see what they got in him because I
and
think
he's
they've called
not
a very
getting a
conservative
chance.
game.
Yeah,
Nah, but
and
they
he's not
got
getting.
yeah. The thing is, like, they gotta stay like for one more year, like, you know what I mean, like with
Mm,
all the draft capital that they bring in, like they gotta, like, you know what I mean, like we gotta see what they can do with all
yeah,
the draft capital they got.
Exactly.
yeah.
And sometimes Jones has a chance to like I guess he can run the offense, but they won't let him because they don't have trust in him to run the offense. And I think you have a better chance of him running the offense for like a couple drives because he's gotten a lot more like smarter in terms of his like patience and like how he is in terms of like his deep ball, his accuracy is it's gotten a lot better, and
Uh,
he's not like so dumb sometimes. Like he doesn't have like those
Yeah, he don't be
like
oh no,
going
he
crazy.
crazy
still
plays.
makes sometimes he still does make some
He
bad decisions
he
at
does
times.
that.
He
It's not
still
like how
does,
it
but
used to be though, like a couple years ago.
Well, I mean,
But
the question is, in where he is right now in his progression,
yeah,
you think back to where Eli Manning was at this point in his career. Aren't they really about the same?
Similar. I
yeah,
agree. They are
yeah,
similar. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they both are in the same
I mean, well,
trajectory
I'll
in a way.
say this. I mean, I'll say this. Like, I mean, like, the way how they talk, like they do. I
Yeah.
say the way how they talk.
Yeah, because I mean, I think about. I mean, if you go back to looking, I remember Eli those first few years. It looked really rough for Eli.
They
Like
did,
it
yeah.
was like, okay, did they really make the right decision here? You know, making the trade with the Chargers to get Eli.
Hmm.
And obviously the Giants. You know, you guys went on a run. Eli got hot in the playoffs, and you know we know what happened from there.
Yeah.
But just looking at the total picture of Eli and looking at Daniel Jones, to me they're very similar. I mean, obviously Daniel Jones is a better athlete. I think
Better
Eli
athlete with better
in crunch
mechanics
time is a
too.
little more is better, but I mean they're eerily similar.
Yeah. In
When you
terms
look
of
at
like,
their yeah,
yeah. In terms of like the first couple of years, I think it's about the same because if you flip flop the first season of Eli's career and you flip it with Jones's, if you put it together with Jones's second year in the league, it's kind of very comparable
Look
because
at Eli Manning's second year.
he
Look
had
at Eli
24
Manning's second
touchdowns.
year. Because when they brought in Plexico Burris as that
Yeah,
number one receiver for Eli,
right.
Eli Manning's numbers started to blow up a lot more. He
he
turned the
had
ball over a
24
decent
touchdowns
amount,
that year.
but he would start putting up touchdowns. Daniel Jones is not putting up touchdowns right now.
Right.
I mean, 8 touchdowns in 9 games, that's pitiful. I mean, I know it's like the surroundings are not, the best
Yeah,
for him,
if you
but you
want to be
cannot
nice,
put
you
up
can
eight
also add
touchdowns.
in the rushing touchdowns. If you want to
Yeah,
be
but
Yeah.
nice.
but Jones had like what 25 touchdowns his first season,
Yep.
and
Yeah, 24,
yeah,
25, yeah,
and
12
what was it?
interceptions.
I think he had 13
Eli,
touchdown
yeah,
passes last year though. It wasn't
Huh?
good this year. What do you have? 13 touchdown passes
No,
last
he had
year?
11.
no,
He had
he had
11
11.
11,
touchdowns, 10
excuse me,
picks.
11 and 15
11,
games.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
11,
bad.
11
11 and
passing
15 games.
touchdowns.
That's
Yeah,
terrible. Yeah,
11
yeah, like
passing touchdowns.
it wasn't good. Again, obviously
Yeah.
you go out, you get Kenny Galladay, you spend the first round pick on Kadarius Toney. You
hmm
expect Shepard to come back. You expect Slayton to continue to grow. You bring in Kyle Rudolph to go with Evan Ingram. Like I just don't know if the excuses. I understand offensive line issues, but I don't know from a skill position standpoint if you can give Daniel Jones a pass
Now, but
on
you
those.
can also see that he kind of don't look comfortable in that offense too under Garrett.
Right,
He's not.
yeah,
He's more fit for the Pat Shermer offense than he was for Jason Garrett. He fit perfectly for Pat Shermer's offense
right,
as more of like a West Coast with sometimes throwing the ball downfield. He doesn't fit this offense with Jason Garrett where they're running 5 yard curls or 5 yard slants and stuff. He just does. He seems very uncomfortable, and also the fact you could tell right now with Andrew Thomas being out of this game right now, him not out there has clearly made Daniel Jones very, very hesitant to sling the ball around because he doesn't have that protection on his blind side. So he's panicking a lot more. His decision making isn't as on point. He's
right.
not releasing the ball quicker. He's holding on to it sometimes, and he's making
Yeah,
bad throws because
yeah.
he's worried about him getting killed from the blind side as well as from the other side. So I think that's affected him too. So I'm curious to see if Andrew
That's why I
Thomas can
think
come
that
back for the Bucks game. It could
Andrew
change.
Thomas is the MVP of the offense,
Yes.
other
yeah.
than
And
Yes.
Saquon.
honestly, Jones fits Nick Sirianni's offense more than Jason Garrett's offense because Nick Sirianni's offense, he'll like for a quarterback like
I
Jalen
don't know
Hurts,
any
he's been
quarterback
letting.
can
Yeah,
keep
Jalen Hurts
it
isn't
cheap.
a good passing quarterback, and he's letting him sling the ball around, and it's more like that run here and there, but sling it down the field like a West Coast type of offense. And I think that's the offense that Jones fits, not like where he stands back and just throws curls every
In
single
a
day.
West Coast kind of offense.
Yeah, and slants and stuff, curls. Yeah,
And
Yeah,
I'm
but I
not even
mean,
going to
That's
complain
not
about
what he do.
injuries. I'm not even going to complain about injuries too because if Mike White on the Jets
You
in his
got
first
rolling
game
about that
could
pocket,
throw for
man.
425 yards and score over 30 points in his first game in the NFL, why can't Daniel Jones, who has not scored over 30 points, as the Giants have not scored over 30 points, I think, since what? The middle of 2020? That's unacceptable. This team
wow.
has got to be better
Yeah,
on offense. They've been the
it's been
worst
a while.
offense with the
It's been
amount
a
of
while
talent.
since
Or
and we almost
I,
scored 30 versus Washington, but
Yeah, I don't want to hear excuses about injuries. You could still be able to put up points. There's
We
teams with less talent that are putting up points than we are.
I think we've scored 30. We've scored about 30 this entire year. There
Because I
really
think
hasn't.
does
Yeah.
Sirianni fully trust your quarterback? Does he trust Jalen Hurts?
Hell no.
I want that
Well,
fire.
well, first of all, Sirianni doesn't trust himself
Yeah, he doesn't
because,
even trust himself.
because number one, you give Miles Sanders the ball 3 times a game, and you call that a running game?
That's
When you
inexcusable.
give
Yeah,
Howard,
right. He's
That's
not
Howard
even.
more,
inexcusable.
Yeah, Jordan
he
Howard and
he gave the
Boston
ball
Scott.
more to Howard in like 2 games than
Yeah, and
Miles Sanders for like the entire year.
Miles Sanders,
you know,
yeah.
and one of my best friends, he's diehard Philly. He calls him Nick Screeniani because this guy
Yeah,
calls more screen passes than I'm like, push the. Jalen Hurts is not a perfect quarterback, but Jalen Hurts can push the ball down the field.
he can. He
You
can.
got a deep threat like Jalen. You got a deep threat like Quez Watkins who can make the deep catch.
Exactly.
Got to utilize him.
And utilize Jalen Rager in the end of rounds. Like a lot of
Rager's
people
got
want to get,
speed. Yeah,
a
I
lot
agree.
of people want to get rid of Jalen Rager, but I don't think they understand that Nick Sirianni's not even utilizing him. And the one time that they did utilize him, he was going in end arounds and stuff. And you can put him on a deep ball here and there, but you got to utilize him in other ways because you have Devontae Smith and Goddard and Watkins for that for the passing game, like in the middle of the field. Use Rager in the end arounds. Maybe throw him out on a couple deep balls. Like
But that's
there's
how
a lot of
Giants
ways
fans
to use
feel
him.
about that's how we feel about Kenny Galladay. Do you know how many times the Giants threw 50-50 balls to Golden Tate, who's 5'10"?
Golden
They
Tate
threw
with a
about 3 or
terrible
4. Yeah.
we gave him a terrible contract.
Yeah, and they
After
threw
we traded
50-50
Odell.
balls to him, and he caught them. He's 5'10", and we at least trusted him to like throw the ball up to him and have him make those 50-50 catches. Kenny Galladay excels and thrives as a 50-50 jump ball wide receiver, and yet this team has not even attempted one time down the field to try to give their big receiver that they paid $72+ million a chance to go up and get the football, and that's maddening. Not even try once, and they got it. They have to try when they come out against Tampa Bay to give Kenny Galladay an opportunity to go get those balls deep in a 50-50 chance, because I guarantee most of the time he will make it, because in his career he's come down with those 50-50 passes. They got to give him a chance. That's
What
the one thing I
year?
want to say.
Yeah, what year did y'all have Golden Tate?
2019 and 2020.
2019 after we traded
that
Odell.
was Judge's first year. So yeah, there's no excuse for that.
2020.
Oh shit.
We
Well,
still had Pat Shermer in 2019.
yeah, he actually he caught a really impressive 50-50 ball against your team in Philadelphia, Slay. I remember that.
Wait,
I remember.
y'all
Golden
had
Tate made some
Shermer?
nice plays. He just
Y'all,
complained.
y'all had Shermer in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
Pat
it's
Shermer.
more of Shermer than it is Galladay, because
Bro, Pat
Galladay, if he was
Shermer, Pat
yeah,
Shermer didn't
but
even know what to do.
yeah,
Like
but
he didn't even know how to manage his roster.
Galladay in that offense, and he's going up to him every single game. He's just
I
going the
think
ball up to him.
That's why
Shermer's
we
a
win.
solid. He's a solid offensive coordinator, but I really don't think he's never proven to be a good head coach.
He's never
Well,
been.
the problem is that let's think about where the NFL is going right now. They don't even look for leadership from a head
No.
coach. They want
Mhm.
offensive geniuses or guys they think offensive gurus to be head coaches. And it's like, no, you want a leader of men.
Yeah, you want a leader of men, exactly.
And,
Which I think
so
Joe Judge, I think he can be a decent leader of men,
right,
like better than Pat Shermer.
right. Now, Joe Judge's biggest problem to me is that he's got to get that Patriots crap out of his DNA.
Yeah, he gotta stop.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He's got to have
Now,
his own
Josh
identity.
McDaniels,
Yeah,
I
got
think
to be his own man.
yeah, McDaniels,
Exactly.
if he gets a second chance, I think he can be good this time around.
I think it depends on the organization because one, again, his biggest problem in Denver was he went on a run early. I think they won their first 5 games. He got really cocky and he started kind of demanding certain things in the organization, and that basically was his end all in Denver. You got to have a strong organization in place if you're going to bring in Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I think he's a leader of men because I think players like to be around him. But if he just gets that cocky side out, and of course, You gotta get that. You don't even get that Patriots DNA to wherever you go.
Damn handsome.
Yeah, just take that DNA of the Patriots and get rid of it. And McDaniels could be a good head coach.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why. You know what I mean, that he's always burning these timeouts and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually didn't do that bad of a job in the Raiders game. I think he
Yeah,
actually
he didn't do
finally
bad. Yeah,
he
he actually
finally
had a good.
managed
Yeah,
his
he had a
timeouts
good
for
game
the.
plan. Like he had a good
Mhm.
game plan against the Raiders by running the football because the Raiders
Yeah.
are really good against the run.
Yeah, but he managed the game well, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Is how do you manage those game time situations?
Daniel Jones
How do
did
you
what
manage
he's
two
supposed. You
minutes?
mean what he's
Right.
supposed to do. But,
I mean, it's a question. I mean, the defense is starting to round into form. I'm loving the way that defense is playing. They seem to be turning into that how they played in 2020, where they're
yeah,
they're
defense at
covering
first.
really well. They're starting to get a little bit of a pass rush since they've elevated Ojulari into more of a prominent role on the outside, and they're
Yeah,
giving Quincy Roche more of a shot. So I
yeah,
think they're starting to get more pressure on that, and it's just the offense has got to start doing something. I mean, they're starting to run the ball a little bit, but they need to get more production from that offense, including Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is part of the problem too. He's got to start putting up some more passing touchdowns, making some better decisions, and he's got to start helping this team win some games. I mean, he's been a nice game manager at times. But we need Daniel Jones to start stepping up because we're evaluating him. Daniel Jones is still being evaluated if he's the guy going forward. So he's going to have to start winning some of these games on his own. If defense, for instance, is like having difficulty against a better high-powered offense than say the Raiders or like the Panthers or any team like that. I mean, against the Bucks are a good offense. I think the Bucks are going to score points against this Giants defense. So, in my opinion, can Daniel Jones, who was horrible last year in Tampa Bay, can he rise to the occasion, even if all our guys are not there, and have himself a game to help push this team over the top in a close game and maybe get them a big win? That's what I'm looking for. Looking forward to
But
Daniel Jones to take the next step.
yeah. I'll
but
actually be at that game, so I'm gonna be watching for what you're talking about.
yeah, that Bucks secondary isn't really got that good,
that
so he
Bucks
could have a
secondary is
good game.
horrible.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
he
but
could.
their
the
pass
problem,
rush is vicious.
Yeah,
well,
that.
the problem with the
Bashford.
Bucks, and again, you guys know, living in New York, Todd Bowles gets figured out. Everybody knows his front sevens are going to be very aggressive. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming after you. There's always going to be he leaves his secondary out on an island, and if you can pick them apart, you can have success. Trevor Simeon made that secondary look really bad
It
a couple of
Mhm.
years.
did.
We
So
couldn't do that.
And
I don't know.
What's the strength of the New York Giants? It ain't that running game.
yeah,
It's the wide receivers when they're healthy.
yeah,
If you can get Saquon Barkley split outside, you have Galladay there, you have Tony there, you
Yeah,
get
so
Shepard back, you got
and they
Slayton.
gotta
We
start
can
and they gotta
score.
start
Ingram
and they
too.
can and they gotta start
Honestly,
using
yeah.
Saquon more on Morris Alvin
Honestly,
Kamara.
yeah. Honestly, I'm a fan of your receivers when they're healthy because you have a jump ball guy and you have a speedster who's very glitchy on a lot of plays, and you can use him in so many ways. And you have your ultimate slot receiver in Sterling Shepard. That
Well,
receiving core
trust me, the
isn't
fan
bad
base is
at all.
starting to hate him now. The fan base is not a fan of Sterling Shepard because the guy's a walking injury.
That man
Bro,
And
always
Saquon Barkley too.
Well, I
he's
mean,
a
when
walk.
So
you draft Kadarius Tony, that's telling Sterling Shepard that his time don't buy a house
yeah,
in
yeah,
Connecticut.
no.
yeah. His time is up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's coming up. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Time is
you
If
up.
know,
it's not next year, it's going to be 2023. He's gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I think he's
about the
going
time.
next after this year. Shepard. Yeah.
I think it's going to come down between Slayton and Shepard, who the team invests and thinks is going to be part of next year.
Slayton,
Who they think they
Slayton.
can rely on more,
I'll
Slayton
keep
or Shepard.
I'll keep Slayton for depth though. I'll keep him for depth.
I think Slayton is a very good number two if you have a true number one.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
Slayton in the role he's in as a good number 3. I don't trust him as a number 2.
yeah,
He's shown it in the past couple of games. He's
Yeah.
he's done nothing. I got to see.
yeah,
He's very hit or miss. And I
yeah.
think he's
Nah,
perfect as a deep threat.
yeah,
He's very good at
yeah,
running those 9 routes.
yeah. Now again, I go back to a receiver is only going to be as productive as the quarterback and the offensive line allowed him to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I know people are going to look at the player and say, oh, he's been up and down. I trust him more as a good number two if you have a very good number one or you have a great number one. You know,
And I
if
don't know
Slayton
if we
were in
have
Green
that.
Bay on the other side of Devontae Adams, he would look like a monster.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's the type of receiver that when he doesn't have that much attention into him, he's gonna he's gonna ball out.
Yeah.
We have three of those guys. Well, I mean, could you guys say that Kenny Galladay is a true number one?
No,
Some people think that he's not a true number
Uh,
one.
no, he's
Really,
not.
I think Kadarius Tony's their best receiver like so far this season.
I got to see more from Tony because I've
But
seen him in a
yeah,
couple of games, but he looks like he has the most potential to be a number one. And then you got three
yeah,
guys that are really good number twos. That could be good number twos. I mean, Galladay could be is a borderline number one, and Slayton and Shepard have proved both times that they could be a good number two. They just need to stay on the field. They got to stay on the field. That's the problem with every single one of these playmakers, and I'm including Saquon Barkley, who's been a walking injury too. These guys got to stay on the field because if they can't stay on the field in the second half of the last 8 games, if you can get any value for any of these guys in the offseason, well, you can't trade Galladay because of his contract, but any
Right.
of these other guys, either let them walk to get a comp pick or see if you can get any value in a trade. And that's including Saquon Barkley if he can have some type of production. I'm willing to do that with any of these guys because I can't trust them when they get on the field because every time any one of them is on that field, I'm scared to death they're gonna hurt a calf or hurt a hamstring or tear an ACL, hurt their foot. That's the problem. We shouldn't as Giants fans have to go into every single game crossing our fingers and hoping that these guys won't get hurt. That's the thing that's been the problem with these guys all season.
Well, the biggest question for me for the Giants going into the offseason is, do you pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option?
I don't know. That's really tricky because right now I don't know enough about Daniel Jones. He hasn't done enough. If the regime stays, if most of the regime stays, I think they might. And
yeah, they
you
might,
know,
they
maybe
might do
they
it.
maybe they use it as leverage if God forbid he has a pretty good season, but the team's still not good. Maybe you could use him as trade bait, and if the quarterback class after that is better, you can try to trade or try to draft a young quarterback. So I'm not sure. It's a tricky situation they're in because this could be like a transition year in 2022, or what I think most likely in 2023.
Yeah, because you got 2 first-round picks this year
Mm-hmm.
because of the trade with the Bears
The
in
Bears, yeah,
this past draft. So,
yeah. I
and
could use
again,
like two, yeah, like with those two first round draft picks, I could use like those with either on 2 offensive linemen, or I could use like 1 edge rusher or an offensive lineman, and yeah, with
and
those
see,
2
yeah,
first round picks.
and see if one of those 3 quarterbacks who I think there's going to be 3 guys that's going to be in line to be picked in the top 10. If one of those picks is in the top 10, and say, Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett or
Kenny
Matt
Pickett,
Corral or
Matt
Matt Corral,
Corral.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those 3 guys, are there in the top 10, and you're not sold on Daniel Jones long term. I don't know how the Giants don't take a quarterback there. Um, I
I
just
mean,
don't.
it's tricky because a lot of people are not very high. I myself are not very high on this quarterback class, but as we all know, the
Yeah,
closer the
'cause this
draft
quarterback
gets,
class is not
yeah,
good.
Oh yeah,
It's
no, it's
not
gonna get
good.
crazy. People are gonna
It's
go.
not
Listen, there are
good.
gonna be 6
yeah,
quarterbacks. Somehow, some way, Spencer Rattler is gonna be in the conversation to be a second round pick, even though he got benched this
yeah.
Yeah,
year.
you got bench for Caleb Williams.
I mean, Willis is going to be up there. You could see Sam Howell. You could see
Yeah,
Matt
yeah,
Corral. You could see
yeah,
Rattler. All these
Carson
guys
Strong.
could be. Yeah, all these guys, because every team is going to eventually panic,
yeah. Desmond
thinking they're going to
Ritter.
need a
Yeah,
franchise quarterback.
yeah. And it's gonna be and 2 again. I don't think they're gonna be. I'm saying I'm looking right now. I think there are gonna be 4 teams that are gonna be in the market for quarterbacks, whether in the draft or in free
The
agency.
Broncos, Washington, the Steelers. Who else need a quarterback? Uh,
Carolina.
yeah, Carolina.
Carolina could be looking for a quarterback.
Yeah,
Uh,
Carolina.
I'm trying to think what other teams are going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, and again,
The
The
Eagles.
Texans.
If the Eagles aren't sold, Slay. If the Eagles aren't sold on on Jalen Hurts, would you be opposed to them drafting a quarterback in one of their picks?
No, I'm good.
So you'd
I
rather
don't
keep
want
Hurts?
anything to do with the quarterback this year. Honestly, man, I have a lot of trust in Hurts because I feel like with him, you can develop him, especially if you can develop him in the passing game, which there's nothing wrong with his passing. It's his accuracy and him with him having trouble scanning the field and stuff, with the reads, him missing reads here and there. But if he works on that, and he gets much better at throwing the ball like a little bit deeper down the field and not overthrowing and underthrowing here and there, then that dude can be a special quarterback in the league. And it just takes time with a quarterback like him. So I'm good. I don't want a quarterback
Yeah,
in this year's draft.
And
yeah.
I don't want a quarterback either.
I think the Eagles should spend their first 5 picks on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a lot of help in
Linebacker,
that defense.
linebacker.
Yeah, they need,
You need some
and
secondary help too.
they need safety help.
Yep.
And you don't know if Slay and Nelson are going to be back next year, so you're going to need
Yeah, I
some
think Slay
cornerback help as
will.
well.
Nelson probably not, but
I think we're gonna have to wait on cornerbacks because we already got a cornerback from the Cardinals, Tay Gowan, who's not like some known name, but we got him in that Hurts trade.
he went to UCF. He's okay, but he's not a guy you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make him a starter.
No, he can be like a 2 though. I can see him being a 2, but not a 1.
Because I was watching some of Philly 500's videos a couple of days, and he brought up some pretty good points. It's like, I think the offense, you guys have some good young foundational pieces like Devonta Smith. You guys got some offensive linemen there. You got Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins. But on the defense, who can you say on that defense right now is part of your long-term future? I mean, you could say Javon Hargrave, but that guy is in the prime of his career, and you don't know how long he's going to be able to keep that alive. Maybe Josh Sweat, but Josh Sweat's still unproven right now, so I guess you could say him. But you guys need some more foundational pieces, I think, on that defensive side of the ball. And that's why I think you guys are going to prioritize a lot of defense if you're convinced that Jalen Hurts is the guy.
I mean, I think Gowan, like, he has the potential to be a 2, but, like, he's still more like a depth piece right now. He's still, like, he hasn't even played a game yet, so.
Here's the other thing, too. Your defensive coordinator's got to go. Because
your defensive coordinator is a disaster.
He's terrible. Like I think I saw a stat where they play zone like 85% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're playing zone 85% of the time, and in this NFL, you're asking to get killed.
Because he's more worried about like those like deep ball passes instead of worrying about those short passes that can like take more time off the clock. And that's one of the reasons teams are like they have better like numbers against us in terms of time of possession against us, because we don't do good on the defense. And since the defense is out there for so damn long, that makes Jonathan Gannon look so bad, and he is. He's very bad. And when you run zone, it just makes it look a lot worse.
I think the lack of pass rushing sometimes for you guys, besides Javon Hargrave, has killed you too. And I think losing Brandon Graham was a killer for your defense.
Yeah.
And you could tell that Fletcher Cox is clearly not the same player he was before. I don't know if he's dealing with an injury, but he's clearly just like starting to slow down.
He's 30, over 30.
Yeah, he's starting to slow down, which is that's a big problem for you guys, because Brandon Graham was your best pass rusher on the outside, and then he went down with the Achilles. And I mean, Fletcher Cox is just starting to slow down as a player, which is understandable when you hit your 30s. And besides Javon Hargrave, who's having himself probably a career year, you guys haven't really had a consistent pass rush, and I think that's hurt your secondary and it's hurt your linebacking core too, because without a solid pass rush, it's gonna make your cornerbacks and safeties vulnerable to the pass. Not being able to lock down guys long enough.
Honestly, I'm not even worried about the defensive line. I think, this year, Fletcher Cox, he's 100% going to get traded in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
There's just no way I see him coming back on the team. Yeah, there's no way I see him coming back on the team. 2,
unless he takes a restructured deal.
Yeah,
I can take the
yeah,
restructure deal, which he
Or
probably
he could
will.
maybe sign a short-term extension and lower his cap hit. He could do
yeah.
that if he wants to stay with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham has one more year on his contract. So what was it this year? I think was his last season. So he's probably going to go too this year. And there was a lot of
I would let him
rumors.
go.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors this offseason that he could have gone to the Titans, which wasn't true. But like he's probably going to get probably going to sign somewhere else this offseason. Like I get that he loves Philly and stuff, but he should be in that mold where like okay, he has to understand that this team is rebuilding. What do they have for me here other than the fact that they love me and they're gonna give me a contract again? But I want to win right now, and I'm getting to that like age where I can't like keep on going forward with a rebuilding team and still trying to go for it when you know you're not gonna get it. So
I think the best thing that the Eagles need to do is something similar to what the Giants did after they won those 2 Super Bowls, where like we hated saying goodbye to guys like Osi Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka, Ahmad
yeah,
Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs, like the foundation, Antro Roll, foundational pieces to our team, Corey Webster, that were there for all this time that were helping us win games. We eventually had to let them go because this team was trying to transition into a younger team and start to build for the future. I think it's the same thing with the Eagles, where like guys like Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, obviously Zach Ertz,
Brandon Brooks.
Brandon Brooks, all these guys that were there for that Super Bowl team. I think it's time for them to slowly start to like phase these guys out of the team and start bringing in some fresher, like some newer guys that either will eventually take over for those spots, or like they'll eventually cut these guys or try to trade them for any type of draft picks they can get and transition
Mm-hmm.
into like a new Eagles, core. So I think that's the
Yeah,
best thing that you guys need to do.
Well, you remember back
honestly,
in the day,
yeah.
you remember back in the day, the Eagles, their principle was once a guy turned 30, he was on borrowed time. Like
Yep.
Yep.
they did not
Mm-hmm.
invest in guys over 30. And as far as
Mhm.
it was, they would let guys that were fan favorites walk, and they've gotten away from that principle. Some because of how they missed in the draft. Shout out to Andre Dillard, but
Mhm.
that I think that's really what you're saying is true. They do need to start to move on from some of those guys and look to getting younger. Um,
Mhm.
so
It's hard, yeah. It's hard to move on from guys that, like, as a fan base, you're attached to. Because I'm sure Eagles fans love Fletcher Cox. This guy's done so much for your organization since he
He's
was
the
drafted. He's
soul.
a
He's
great
the heart and
player.
soul of our defense.
He's a heart and
Exactly.
soul.
Brandon Graham is the same thing. Zach
Brandon
Ertz was the
Graham.
heart and soul of your offense.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson has been a steady right tackle for you guys since he was drafted. But, I mean, you guys are in the middle of a
They
transition
defense
period.
some of their defensive
Yeah.
players get older.
I
I
mean,
it's
yeah. Now,
I'm not trying to be a dick Giants fan, but I'm just being honest. You guys are in the middle of like transitioning. You're in the type of period right now with your team. We are not probably going to be winning that much in the next few years. You're going to start having to get younger and starting to put together like a new team. So you're going to have to move away from some of these young guys because, do you want to really have these high-priced cap guys on your roster if you're not really going to be winning anytime soon? No, you want to try to get younger and trade some of these guys away to get some more draft picks to start building through the draft and getting some new young talent in there.
now, why I'm not worried in some cases, Howie Roseman, he's good in the sense of where like he kind of already he has a couple guys that he's drafted before, still on this team that are really young, like Jack Driscoll. He drafted Milton Williams last year. I mean, the Devontae Smith draft. He drafted him in that same draft in the third round, who was a good pick. And I'm liking how Milton Williams has been doing this year, in his first season. But he has a lot more time to grow, and that looks like Fletcher Cox's replacement. And that's the heir to Fletcher Cox. So I think Howie Roseman is smart in the sense of he knows the guys to get to build up for the trenches at offensive line and defensive line. So that's one thing that has Howie Roseman's side going for him right now. He's smart at drafting players up at offensive line and D line.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they try to draft a right tackle and they try to move Lane Johnson and his big contract off
No,
the
we
books.
already have. We won't draft a right tackle because we kind of already have the heir to Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. We have
Which isn't
Jack
Jason
Driscoll.
Kel. Driscoll's
Yeah.
a right tackle.
Yeah, he's a right tackle, and
Okay.
he's really good. Like honestly, I think that dude can be a monster in this league. If a couple things work out for him, and Landon Dickerson, he's gonna be a stud as well.
I think he's
Yeah,
going to be
but
a future center with
he's
Kelsey
gonna be
retires.
the center. He was a
Yeah.
Yeah, when
center in
Kelsey
college.
retires, he's going to take
Yeah.
over.
And
Yeah,
then
so that's
Kelsey
two
last year.
positions already. That's two positions already that Howie solved. For right tackle and off. What was it, the center position?
Well,
So yeah.
well, I would say this too. You know, I remember when you guys drafted Lane Johnson? Lane Johnson wasn't considered necessarily a need pick. He was
Yeah.
the best player on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be kind of the same thing this year. Like if somebody like Evan Neal from Alabama is there when the Eagles pick, if he's the best player on the board, they're going to take him.
Yeah, they're going to take him. You can't pass
What
up on a talent like
what
that.
position does he play?
He's
He's a right tackle.
Right tackle.
Right
Or
tackle.
even like Lindenbaum in the center. If
Yeah.
you really think that this guy's a can't miss, which a lot of people are saying, this Lindenbaum is
Yeah,
one
I
of the best
want
center
him so
prospects
bad.
coming out.
Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa.
Yeah, you take him.
If he's there personally, I would look at him, but I wouldn't take him.
I mean, look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't need CeeDee Lamb when they took him. They had Gallup, they had Cooper, but you know what? They said CeeDee Lamb is the best value on this board. He's sitting there right now at our pick. We can't pass up on the best player on this board. Why don't we just take him?
Right.
Actually, that might be
They
good
didn't
for
need
us.
Parsons.
Yeah, that might be good for us actually, because if we get Linderbaum, with whatever overall pick we have, in the first round, the 3 first-round picks we have, Linderbaum, he looks like he's gonna go in the top 15 or top 10 right now if he stays healthy. So if you take him and you put him at center, and Landon Dickerson can play a lot of positions on that offensive line. You can move him to right guard, and I think you can put him at left guard because he plays both the guard positions.
And I think there's one thing that we learned too. You can never have enough good offensive linemen and enough good pass rushers because the Giants have known this for firsthand over the years.
Yeah.
You need as many offensive linemen as you can get because you don't know if they're going to be good one year or they're going to be bad the next, and also if they're going to stay healthy. Offensive linemen go down a lot of times, so you need to have as much depth as possible on that O-line. And the Giants have struggled with that, as we can see right now. They came in with question marks all over the place, and they've lost now. 3/5 of their offensive line have been either out for the season or missing most of the season. You need to have that proven depth out there. So, I mean, if you're going to get a chance like a Linderbaum or an Evan Neal, you take them. Because you never know if you're going to need them eventually if somebody goes down.
I would say for the Eagles, the only guy that's probably going to be starting on that offensive line next year as a guarantee is HV. And that's just because they just paid him.
Yeah, was that Haloti Vaitai?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to definitely be the starter at left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, because they just gave him $68 million, so he ain't going nowhere. But
no.
The entire right side of the offensive line, from Kelsey to Brandon Brooks, who's out, and Lane Johnson, are probably all gone. They're not going to be on that roster next year.
Yeah, I think they're either going to retire or they're going to try to trade him away or cut them.
I think Kelsey and Lane Johnson are retiring.
Jason Kelsey.
Yeah. Which I think it's good. I'd rather see, as an Eagle fan, you'd probably rather see these guys retire and just stay as Eagles their entire career. I'd rather see that. That's why I'm glad Michael Strahan retired a Giant. He was a Giant his whole career. Amani Toomer, a Giant his whole career. Tiki Barber, a Giant his whole career. I love being able to say that because in the NFL nowadays, how many players can say, well, I played my entire career for 6, 7, 8, 9 years as on one team? Guys are trading places all over the place. Look at Brandon Cooks. The guy's been on 5 or 6 teams in his career? So it's nice to be able to say I was able to play on one team my entire career and I got to win a Super Bowl with that team. It's always really, really good to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that would be the best thing to do for a guy like Jason Kelsey, a guy like Lane Johnson, even a guy like Brandon Graham. Maybe he decides, you know what? I'm an older player. I'm coming back from an Achilles injury, which is never easy for a pass rusher. Maybe it's time for me to just hang it up. I won a Super Bowl. I mean, maybe he wants to play for another year or two, but he could just be like, you know what? I did everything I wanted to do in my career. I want to be a Philadelphia Eagle my entire career. I don't want to play anywhere else, and you just decide to hang it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who
Yep.
knows?
Hey, we do have 3 first-round picks though, so kind of happy about that.
Well, I still
Yeah.
think that you guys are going to go heavy defense in the draft.
Yo, Sean,
and
how
that's
come?
one thing.
Hey, yo, Sean, how come you ain't been in U3 in a while?
So I left U3.
Oh,
Yeah.
you left U3, so you're
Yeah.
not there no more.
No, not there no more. Yeah, no, not there.
No more. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just Cisco and J Mac now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, Sean, I'd love you if you're able to. You should ever try to come on with like sometime come on and visit like Big Pass Sports Talk. Joel, who was just on before, and some of the guys that we usually talk with. There's a lot of like very intelligent guys that have some great film breakdown about the Giants, and we just talk general NFL. We'd love to have you over there to just
Film
be able to like
breakdown,
come on the
brother.
panel and just like chop it up and talk football with us.
What's the name of it again? Big Pass.
Big Pat Sports Talk. We're welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. He's a great Giants YouTube content creator. Does a great job in breaking down film. He also does some. He's like really good at that element when talking about like,
talking
football.
Giants. Yeah. He should just shorten that.
Yeah, he can
down.
scout good. He can
Yeah,
scout.
he should shorten down welcome to like just Big Pat Sports Talk instead of just welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk.
We got the Savai Minizarati. He's like the heart and soul of our group. He's like the passion. Same thing with our buddy Adam Costas. Taj has been with these guys for a while. I mean, there's a lot of good guys that we usually chatted up with, including the one that was just here before Joel. Joel's like the calm of the storm.
Yeah. I'm the resident Eagles fan.
Slay's the one we always piss off or try to block.
Yeah, I just subscribed, so I'll come over definitely when he goes live if I'm available and jump in. Yeah.
Yeah, I even subscribe to Classified Joel because he's going to be streaming the game tonight. Classified 3F with Joel. He's the one that's going to be streaming the Thursday night game. We'd love to have you on, just like.
And Logan's Giants on too.
A lot of people in our little group that we have together talking football. It's a good time.
Hey, Sean, who's your team, by the way?
I don't have a team.
Nah, you don't have a team.
I don't have a team anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a long-time Buccaneers fan.
Yeah, he used to be a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah, but no, I don't have a team anymore.
Why aren't you a Bucs fan anymore? Any particular reason?
It's a long story.
It's a long story, but
it's a long
story. But my Bucs fandom goes back to Doug Williams, so that's how long I've gone with that team, and I just got tired of it. I said I'm done. So yeah, I don't have a team.
No, I respect it. At least you got to see a championship with Brad Johnson. So, I mean, you got that at least on your.
Yeah, but that was
thankful of our.
Yeah, but that was bittersweet because that was Tony Dungy's championship, and and he wasn't there. So
no, I hear you. That was Tony Dungy's team that Gruden had to win it with. So I mean, I hear what you're saying.
And then you saw what he did with the team after winning the championship. So it's trash.
Oh, man. I like the Bucs though as a team right now. That team's really good.
No, I'm good. No, I hope they lose every game.
Yeah.
No, the Bucs are not. The Bucs are not really in the best situation as you think. They got a lot. We were talking about before. The Bucs got a lot of guys that are on 1-year deals that they could. A lot of these guys could be gone after like the next year or two. And veterans that are just trying to win Super Bowls and then they could be gone.
I hear that. Like this year, specifically this year, they are just really good, like offense and defense.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, they got the pass rushers, they got the O-line, they got the playmakers on the outside, they got the linebackers, and they have the quarterback.
They have. When you got the quarterback. How old is Brady, by the way?
44, yeah.
How do you switch that number from 44 to 24? Because that's how old he's playing right now. He's not 44. He's 24.
I'll tell you how you do it. I'll tell you how you do it. You change the rules so you can't hit quarterback.
Rules, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He should be 24 right now.
He ain't got hit. He ain't got hit in 13 years.
Yeah, he ain't got hit 13 years after his torn ACL injury.
Yeah. You got to think, look at that offensive line, too. They built an offensive line really well in front of him to make sure he won't get hit. So that's part of it.
And let's not forget, they also changed the offense to make him more comfortable. They brought in a lot of New England
Yeah, he changed the
concepts that
offense.
don't ask him to do 5 and 7 step
Yeah, he
drops.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't fit. He didn't fit in that Bruce
He didn't do
Arians
that Bruce Arians
philosophy.
offense.
No.
And
So
he's not a blitzer, actually. I mean, he gets not like a blitzer, but like when defenses blitz him, he doesn't handle it well. And
He doesn't
that's
handle
the
it.
era that the NFL is going into, a blitz heavy like defense. Like look at the Cardinals. They blitz 30, 40, 50,000 times a game. That defense is very, 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 very good
well,
in terms of blitzing.
the key with Brady is you blitz him, but the key is you got to get him off his spot.
Mm-hmm.
Get him off his spot. He gets happy feet, and the ball's going in the dirt or the ball's going to be high. So the Giants proved that for years. You rush 4, you get Brady off his spot, you got a chance. But if
And
you
that's
keep
what we did
blitzing,
that year when we won the
it
Super
won't
Bowl.
work.
That's what we did. We got Shaq
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah.
Shaq Mason was right there. And then Brandon Graham, for how good he is, he basically just threw Mason on the ground. And Brady didn't see that Graham was right there. Was at the defensive tackle position coming at him. And then that was a fumble.
Right.
How do you think the Giants beat them twice?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Pressure. But if you have a team, and to your point, if you have a jet line, meaning you have 2 defensive ends who in certain pass rush situations can slide inside, has 3 techniques.
Yep.
You can kill teams like the Bucks with that because they don't know how to. It's just impossible to block it. So, and that's what the Giants were able to do. That's what.
Why do you think Justin Tuck was such a great player? Because that guy could play outside, and he also could play the 3 technique inside and still get some pressure. I remember a lot of times when the Giants played, when they ran that NASCAR package, Justin Tuck was playing a lot of the defensive tackle position on, and they had OC and Kiwi on the outside, and they would have sometimes have JPP and Tuck playing on the inside.
Yep.
So I mean, Tuck was one of those players that could gain pressure from the outside and the inside, and that's what made him such a good player.
Yep.
And that's what frustrated Tom Brady the most is because the best way to beat a great quarterback and a great offense, you got to get pressure on them. And that's exactly what they did. And that's how they won those 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
That's exactly how you can beat this Bucs team, too. You got to get pressure on Tom Brady because that guy is not moving much. You can somehow break down that offensive line and get pressure on Tom Brady, that offense is going nowhere. Because Brady's not really going to do much.
And as good as the Bucs receivers are, outside of Antonio Brown, you can press those guys a lot. They don't get a great deal of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Evans is. Yeah, Evans isn't known for his route. Yeah, Evans is not a really good route runner either. So.
No, he's not.
No, Evans is just going to use his height most of the time.
Yeah, that's
a better receiver than Mike Evans.
Because Godwin has that
very underrated.
Yeah, Godwin has like that sort of explosiveness off the line, but he also has like that creativity with his route running, so he can be that shifty guy inside the intermediate. He can just beat you in a lot of ways, but he is kind of better than Evans.
I mean, we can't. That's true, but you can't really disrespect Mike Evans when the guy's the first player in how long or ever they have seven 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, I'm just saying
the guy's had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. In ways, he's better. He's probably not better in terms of
he's
right
top
now.
10. He's top 10, but he's not top. Probably put him in the top 5. No, he's not top 5.
No, a lot of people argue that. Zion, one of our friends, who's a Giants fan, he argues that Mike Evans is a top 3 receiver right now.
He's borderline. Yeah. He's borderline, but I don't think he's a top. He's a top 10, but not top 5.
He doesn't. He's not a great route runner, and he does not have the best hands. He drops a lot of balls.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Well, I mean, would you put Mike Evans over Devontae Adams?
No.
God. Oh, hell no.
Would you put him over DeAndre Hopkins?
No way.
Would you put him over Stephon Diggs?
No
way.
Let me see. Would you trying to think of other good receivers?
Hill, Tyreek Hill.
Would you put him over Tyreek Hill?
No.
Hell no.
What about AJ Brown?
That's arguable.
AJ Brown drops a lot of balls too.
Yeah, that's debatable.
Yeah, he's not.
Would you-
You know,
What
Let's
about
put him over
Julio?
Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's put up some good numbers too. You got to look at that guy. He's played well.
Would you put him over Cooper Kupp this year?
Nah, no way.
No. Would you
No
put him
way.
over Amari Cooper?
Yes, I would.
I can debate it, but yeah, I can debate that. Would you put him over Keenan Allen?
That's a hard one.
I think Keenan Allen is very underrated.
He's very underrated, but I think I'd still put Evans over Allen.
Evans.
It's so close though.
Julio? What about Julio?
Oh no, Julio's done.
I would say Evans right now at this point in their careers is better than Julio Jones at this point in their career.
Would you take Calvin Ridley over?
No, not right now.
No, Evans
I'd
take over Ridley. Ridley's not been on the field enough.
Yeah,
Ridley's still dangerous though. His route running is.
Yeah, he's dealing with.
What about like a rookie like Jamar Chase?
Right now, nah.
No, it's too early.
Yeah, right now, Chase is better. Like in terms of this year, Chase has been better, but
he's been. Well, let me ask you this: Would you take Mike Evans over a healthy Mike Thomas?
Michael Thomas?
No,
that's close.
No,
Michael Thomas.
I mean, what is Michael Thomas right now? He hasn't played in a year and a half. We don't know what the guy is.
I think Michael Thomas. Yeah, Michael Thomas is a top 5 receiver when he's healthy. He might be 1 or 2. If he's healthy, he might be up there with D-Hop and Devontae.
Mike Thomas better.
It's tough. I mean,
honestly, I can debate that all day long because Michael Thomas, he was on pace to set up like a lot of records, and he had a couple of records before he went on this
reception record.
Before he went on this like year-long existence of not playing football. But before that, him and Drew Brees clicked like no other. Like those two clicked on certain levels.
It's so tough. I mean, Thomas is a really good receiver when he was on the field. The guy was a top 5 guy, but it's the problem right now. I know, like Seth, you said like if he's healthy, but is he going to be healthy coming back? I mean, that's the question. The guy hasn't played in a year and a half. We don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah, it's a question. No, it's a big question. I mean, certainly.
Yeah, and Evans has been consistent. He's been on the field pretty much his whole career, and the guy's putting up good numbers every year.
But I will tell you, as a former Bucs fan, that guy's going to limp off every game. It does not matter what happens. That dude will find a way to limp off the field at some point during the game.
No, I agree. Evans gets hurt a lot in games, but he somehow always comes back.
But he's big. He's very muscular dude. Like he's lanky, but he's very tall. So like,
and he's a big receiver that stays on the field. Most big receivers, like they go off the field because they get beaten down so much. Look at Kenny Galladay. Guy's a walking injury.
I'll tell you a guy that nobody talks about enough, who I would want over Mike Evans, and that's Allen Robinson.
I agree.
Like Allen Robinson, yeah.
He's had a bad season this year, but look at the situation he's in. The Bears' offense is terrible.
Now, Allen Robinson gonna be gone after
he's gone. He's gone. He's good as gone.
He's gone.
There's no way he's in, but I love Allen Robinson's game. I think the guy's a lot better than he's shown this year. I just think that Bucs and that Bears offense is terrible. Their offensive line's bad, and what are you expecting when you're putting in a rookie quarterback? You're not really going to get big numbers from him.
And his blind side,
their offensive line is awful.
Yeah.
And Matt Nagy, I don't know. I mean, it was funny. Matt Nagy has made the playoffs in 3 of his 4 years as the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on the hot seat because he's so bad
play call
managing this situation with Justin Fields and the play call.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin Fields is in a predicament where he has a number 1 receiver who never gets the ball. And he has to understand that his offensive line is like really terrible. When Jason Peters is your blind side at 41 or 2 years old
40,
in the NFL, like that's.
Yeah, I mean Andrew Whitworth is a left tackle and he's 40 in the Rams and he's playing well. So I mean, age goes like both ways.
Yeah. I mean, age goes both ways, but a guy like Jason Peters should not be playing in the NFL.
Well, they drafted Tevin Jenkins in the 2nd round, and he ended up needing back surgery, so he's missing the season, which is why
that really hurt them.
That really hurt them, but their offensive line wasn't that good either way.
But you could just see when your team is missing your left tackle, with like you're missing your foundational piece on your offensive line, it's going to make it difficult for your quarterback. It's no reason why Daniel Jones is looking a little bit more hesitant now with Andrew Thomas not there blocking the blind side. I mean, take Donovan Smith off the Bucs offensive line. Take the left tackle away. You think that Brady's going to feel more comfortable with a backup out there? Take
Honestly, yeah. No, if you take Ryan Jensen or Tristan Wirfs out of there, then he's
yeah,
going to be
but
very
especially your left tackle. Take away
Yeah.
Andrew Whitworth from Stafford. How do you think he's going to play?
Take
away a
away
left tackle.
Take away Mailata from our O line.
Look at how Dak Prescott played the other day with Tyron Smith out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
that one was also a shoulder injury too. That one was more of the shoulder, I think. Like
No, but Dak was on the run a lot more because he didn't trust his blindside protector to
Yeah.
keep him safe in the pocket. And it's, I mean, who would he rather? He would rather have Tyron Smith blocking his blind side so he can at least stay in the pocket and at least scan the field to find the open receiver. Instead, he was running for his life because he didn't trust. I mean, who's the backup on the team? Terrence Steele or La'el Collins? I think if he was playing left tackle at the time, he's not gonna have the same trust as he's gonna have when you have a guy like Tyron Smith, who's been one of the best left tackles in football for the past 10 years. You're going to have a lot more trust when you have a guy out there protecting your blind side than some backup or a guy that maybe isn't a traditional left tackle out there. It's just how it is. It's going to change how your quarterback operates in the pocket.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Lamar Jackson, who you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have Ronnie Stanley, who is also another one of the best left tackles in football. And he's able to make some plays happen because he has that one X factor that a lot of quarterbacks don't have, and that's his ability to make plays out of the pocket. That's ability to make plays on the run. He has that ability to scramble and also run for first downs, and that's that's the advantage Lamar Jackson has over a more of a traditional pocket passer as a Dak Prescott does, because Prescott can scramble and get out of the pocket. But you're never really going to think of Dak Prescott at this point of his career as a guy that's more like a Lamar Jackson, where you expect him to run and make these amazing plays for first downs. He could do it, but he's more of a pocket passer, if anything. So that's what an advantage of Lamar Jackson has compared to most of these other quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's true. Very true.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that's something that everybody's got to think about, is a left tackle or even a center on the offensive line means so much to how a quarterback can operate in and even out, sometimes out of the pocket.
Yep. If we lose Jason Kelce on our offensive line, that's just.
Well, I think you guys are gonna lose him either way after this season. I think
after this season, but I'm talking about if we didn't have him in that, if we didn't have him in the Super Bowl, if we didn't have him then we'd be screwed.
Oh, yeah, Taj, how do you think we feel? Taj, you know how we felt losing Nick Gates off the center position. Completely changed our offensive line.
But it's a lot different, though. Us losing Kelce, that would be much different, because I get that Nick Gates is good for y'all, but Kelce
to left guard, then
he's a heart and soul for us.
Nick Gates was the heart and soul of our offensive line. He was the heart and soul of that. It wasn't Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas was the best player on our offensive line, but the heart and soul of that offensive line was Nick Gates. And the second he went down, that offensive line took a step back.
Yes. I do like Will Hernandez, though. I like him a lot.
I'm not a fan of Will Hernandez.
Yeah, I like Will Hernandez, but
I'm not a fan of him.
It's just that he's just playing next to Nate Solder garbage ass.
No, I think it's partially because of that, but I just don't think Will Hernandez is that. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's going to ever be like that really good right guard that you need. And I have no problem at the end of the season if the Giants decide to move on.
He's average at best. He's at least average.
I want to upgrade. I want to have somebody better than average.
When he was in college, I saw him, and he played with a nastiness. He doesn't play that anymore.
He hasn't played like that since his rookie year. Every single Giant fan, when we took Will Hernandez in the second round, we were all doing backflips. We were so excited because we loved the makeup of this guy. And he showed it in his rookie year in 2018. But I don't know what happened to the guy. I mean, I know he had COVID in last year, but he's just not been the same player. He's regressed every year.
When did y'all take Will Hernandez?
2018.
Same year with Saquon.
So-
Yeah, he's a second round pick.
And when did y'all sign Nate Solder?
2018.
In 2018.
Yep.
So if it's that first year, that both
Yeah,
guys
because
were
you know
playing
what I mean.
that
Because
first
after
year.
Nate Solder, like there was like really no like you know what I mean. Like there was like really like no left tackle like that was.
Taj,
like,
do you remember
there,
that offensive line in 2018 where we had let's see, we had Nate Solder, Will Hernandez, Brett Jones, Patrick
Yeah.
Omame, and Eric Flowers as our right tackle. Do you remember how
Yeah,
bad
Eric
that
Flowers.
was?
So if that's your offensive line that year, then and that's his first year playing, then it has to be Nate Solder being there as well. Because Nate Solder is
I
not
think it's
good.
communication. It might be
Yeah, it's
partially,
communication with that too.
but he's had Matt Parrott at times at right tackle too, and he's still been very suspect in some of his blocks. He's had very his feet haven't been always the best in terms of blocking. He's good. He's solid. I'll say Will Hernandez is a solid, average to maybe slightly above average
Yeah, he's
offensive
not trash,
lineman.
but he's like like he's solid.
And a
He's not a
second
guy,
rounder
though, I would
isn't like
invest a lot of
supposed to
money
be
in,
a
no.
hit all the time, but it should be very like average, solid, like good in that case. That's
He's
where
been
a second
solid,
round.
but he's not been a hit. He's
Yeah,
been
that's
more of a
why.
miss than a hit.
That's why in this draft, I want to draft for depth.
Yeah, I want to take we have a lot of picks in that draft. I want to take a decent amount of them and try to invest more into that offensive line and the defensive line
After the
pass rush
first and the
too.
second round, they should be drafting nothing but depth.
Yeah, I want as much depth on the offensive line, the linebacking core. The linebacking core needs a facelift, in my opinion. They need a facelift in that starting unit, especially if Blake Martinez isn't back next year. They need help, big time, and especially the inside, because they have. We haven't had an impact linebacker on the Giants since probably Antonio Pierce was the closest thing to an impact. Yeah, the closest thing we've had to an impact linebacker. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and also some more pass rush depth because I like Ojulari and I like Roche, but I think Ojulari is I know us in our group have mentioned it before, Taj. I think Ojulari is more of a Robin. I think Roche is a good depth piece. I want a proven stud pass rusher that when he gets on the field, teams are afraid of this guy.
Yeah,
That's what I want the most.
I'll tell you what, though, Quincy Roche in 4 games is already better than Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Jimenez.
Well, those guys are trash. I mean,
Sorry.
I think I understand why they wanted
4
to.
years combined.
Yeah, I understand why Joe Judge and Patrick Graham wanted to try and allow those guys to Ojulari and Roche to understand the game a little bit more, like slowly uptick their snaps in the game. But I mean, Carter and Jimenez were doing nothing. They were pretty much useless outside. They were never getting any pressure. Never getting any sacks. Nothing.
That's why I let them getting injured and missing the season. And
Sean, it was good to talk to you, man. I hope you have a good one.
Hey, man, you too, man. I subscribe to a couple of the channels, so you might see me on there at some point.
Love to have you on there, man. Thank you for talking. I enjoyed it.
Yep. It was a good time.
It's good to talk to you again, Sean.
Yeah, likewise.
Have a good one,
Sean.
Sean.
Later, brother.
Yep.
All right.
You have a good one, man.
Now go ahead, Tosh. I'm gonna jump off soon too because I want to get ready for a Joel stream tonight in the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What were you saying before, Tosh?
Now I was saying that like both Carter and Jimenez, like them missing the rest of last season because of their injuries was kind of was really a blessing in disguise.
Jimenez is horrible. That's why he's my favorite player on the Giants.
You want him over Nick Barnett? Because I'd gladly take Nick Barnett over him.
You mean Derek Barnett?
Or Derek Barnett.
You just
Derek Barnett.
Oh, I see why you said Nick Barnett. I get that. I get that reference.
No, actually, I wasn't even going that route, but I would actually take Derek Barnett over O'Shane Jimenez and Lorenzo Carter because those guys have done next to nothing.
How many sacks has Jimenez had this year?
O'Shane Jimenez.
How many sacks? None.
None. In the damn NFL.
And I don't think Carter has any too. Carter has one
What is
interception.
his
That's
good?
it.
What is he good at? Like, is there one thing he's good at?
No, no,
Just like,
nothing.
is it like one thing? Just one thing. You like you can't
No,
name
nothing. He hasn't
Nothing?
done anything.
He's so ineffective.
He's that bad? Like
He's
he's
that
not
bad.
doing one thing.
You have to watch the guy play. He hasn't done
Jeez.
anything on that defense since he's been a Giant.
like that.
And we've given him
Like that man's
opportunity
been a
after
butt.
opportunity
Yeah.
after opportunity.
Like he was at first under James Betcher.
Mm-hmm. He was that was part of that James Betcher and Pat Shermer draft that Gettleman brought in here. I think he's personally. I forget who mentioned it before. I think he would be a better pass rusher as a 4-3 end. But I think he's lined up in a position where he won't succeed. I think he's going to be better as a 4-3 defensive end than he is as a 3-4 outside linebacker standing up. So I think he's in the wrong defensive scheme right now. Just watching his play, I just don't think he's quick enough. And he doesn't have enough pass rush moves to get to the quarterback. I think he'd be a lot better. Maybe he has more of a bull rush guy on the outside. So I think they need to switch up the defense to fit his skill set more. I just think he needs to go to another team where his skill set as a pass rusher would be better utilized. Because it's not here.
Hold on,
I think the same thing with Lorenzo Carter.
I'm gonna come back, yo.
But Taj, I'm gonna run. So I want to thank you for allowing me on the stream. It was fun chopping it up with you guys. So maybe I'll see you a little bit later on Joel and with Pat and all the others.
Yeah, I gotta run as well because I was just about.
I'm about to end the stream too.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
For about 2 hours and 25 minutes. So
yeah, shout out to y'all too. But we might.
And anybody that's here, make sure you guys subscribe to Big Play Slay, and if you guys subscribe to Super Taj, got some of the best young content creators we got in this community. So try to sub them up, show them the love, and hope to see you guys soon. It was a pleasure talking with you guys. Have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you guys later on Joel's stream. Take it easy, guys.
Salute to all to the people that came in the chat in the panel, man. Hey man, this is Super Taj World, man. We out. Peace.